from the TFNB Your Bank for Life studio. Now, it's time for the Smoak Show. Presented by IdealMRI.com. Premium quality MRIs, convenient, affordable. That's ideal. And by Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. We are Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, your insurance provider built by Texans for Texans. And we've been protecting families in our great state since 1952. TFNB, your bank for life, serving Central Texans since 1889. It's time for the Smoak Show on 365 Sports with David Craig and Craig Smoak.
Welcome to this Friday edition of the Smoak Show, 365 Sports. We're going to hear from a lot of players today, including Connor Wigman, the quarterback in Houston. We'll hear from David Coffey, defensive back, cornerback from Iowa State, CJ Fight, defensive lineman on the Big 12 all preseason team at defensive tackle, and Kyler Jordan, a defensive lineman, defensive end from Baylor. Plus, with that Baylor and Auburn game coming up later on in Atlanta, we'll hear from David Epps, the president, CEO of the AFLAC. I can hear the duck in the background, Kickoff Classic in Atlanta, Georgia. Craig Smoak joins me on this Friday as we close out a week. It seemed like sometimes you wonder if it's a holiday early in the week but the travel to Frisco and back, it seemed like this week all of a sudden just evaporated.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. It felt like it went by very quickly, and I think that that kind of happens when you have a couple of days where you're just inundated with so much from 8 a.m. in the morning till 6 o'clock at night, and I think it was a really good couple of days. The week came and went just so fast. And so, now we've got to almost slow back down a little bit. We won't with our coverage of anything, and certainly we'll keep up with whatever the news cycle is. But they kept us busy with plenty of news and plenty of interviews out in Frisco. It was a great time. It was a nice little appetizer. Now we kind of go take that mid-morning nap almost in a way for football season, and then here in about another month, rev it back up again, because that's what happens when you have such an early media days. You kind of, like the coaches were all telling us, you get off vacation for a second, you drop in, you do this, you kind of rev it up, and then you go back to the garage, park it for a little while, and then here we'll start to rev it up again. But I enjoyed every minute of it, and I think it's going to be a fascinating year in college football, but particularly in the Big 12 conference.
Well, we even had ADs. We had even media relations, SIDs, and of course the coaches and players say that, that this week, and it doesn't start for them next week. Like it doesn't start for us next week. As you mentioned, they got a chance to maybe still work out, do whatever they do, but decompress, and the next thing you know, there's more media days with the Big Ten and the SEC and the ACC. And then you start sometime in late July and early August, the fall workouts for the upcoming season. So in your opinion, we have gone through all of the stories. You mentioned that the Big 12 even gave us some storylines, and we know what those have been. We also yesterday went through the top 10 quarterbacks per Brett McMurphy, and he was a part of the show. And even the coaches poll, who's going to win the Big 12? And we discussed that as well. Is there any storyline that wasn't brought up or should be brought up, Craig, that you don't remember us talking about this week?
No, not really. I mean, I was on with Cole Kubelik and Greg McElroy on Thursday, and they wanted to just kind of talk about things in general. They also have had me on a couple times to kind of preview Baylor-Auburn, since they are based there in Alabama. So they've had me on a couple of different times over the last 6 months or so to kind of continuously preview that game, because I think they've obviously they've been under the impression that's going to be a pretty big game for Auburn, being the big debut of their new era, and then knowing that there is the potential end of this era of Baylor football also intertwined with that. So you got a coach who's very much on the hot seat with this big game in Atlanta right out of the gates against Auburn, and then you got this brand new Auburn coach with this big matchup in Atlanta against a Big 12 team, a good opportunity to make a statement. So when I was talking to those guys, it inevitably got into Texas Tech and the Big 12 and the Your Mark interactions. And I don't think they quite understood kind of how it felt, because they weren't there.
Sure.
And they don't follow it like inch by inch like we do, although they have a pretty good grasp. But you could just tell when I was sort of describing some of the things going on right now between Tech and the conference, and just all of the feelings surrounding that, you can just tell their jaws were like kind of halfway to the floor. And I don't know, man. I think we've covered it a bit, but I don't think we're done covering it. I think we're going to be talking about this for months to come. I don't know how it all resolves itself ultimately. But yeah, I don't have a good answer for what's something we haven't talked about a lot. I do have plenty of answers for what's kind of the topics coming out, from the Monster Energy to Texas Tech to just all the new coaches. There's just a lot of stuff that was interesting to talk about. I think it all got pretty much covered. And I think we were able to dabble even in some things that most people probably aren't even thinking about that much. So I don't know. I think there's plenty of stuff that was forefront and center and got a lot of play, and not too much that really flew under the radar unless you were just looking for like a deep dive on UCF or something along those lines.
Our good friend, oh my God, I just went blank. He contacted us on Twitter, tagged us on Twitter about, hey, about what have you been able to say when we were there yesterday and on Tuesday and Wednesday in Frisco about the Knights? We didn't get a chance to talk with Scott Frost. He was there. We thought that might happen. We didn't get that. But UCF has had a very quiet, and yet effective. And even with yesterday's ratings from Brett McMurphy, Alonzo Barrett, Barnett, excuse me, he has him very much up the totem pole among the quarterbacks, and a guy that might be not a sleeper, but somebody that might be not getting enough attention.
Yeah, I don't think there's any sleeper storyline that we've missed out on or not really touched on. I think it's all pretty much been covered. I'd say Dion and just how healthy and jubilant and kind of energetic he was definitely notable from media days as well. I did have a conversation with Adam Eaton, who covers UCF, so I got my little UCF intel and kind of my combo via off-screen discussions. But yeah, it would have been nice to talk to Scott Frost. I just think that, whatever went uncovered was your typical, like, maybe deeper dive preview or whatever school whose head coach we couldn't talk to. But we talked about Oklahoma State. We talked with Eric Morris. We talked about Dion looking sharp. We talked about, obviously, Texas Tech. We've talked to Kalani Sitake. We've talked the Baylor hot seat storyline. We've talked to Cincinnati and know what they're going through, and now the investigation and what all that looks like. And now we've talked quarterbacks and preseason polls. So yeah, I think we've covered pretty much all the bases, and it'll now be a matter of what news stories kind of start to emerge. But there's still some from this offseason, very much like. And this is what I told Cole and Greg. I was like, guys, this isn't even like a Brendan Sorsby story anymore. This is Texas Tech and the Big 12 hashing things out. From Ross Dellinger's article that dropped that we discussed about the steakhouse meeting to just the media day comments and how those were received. That doesn't appear like it's going anywhere, but there are plenty of other things that are interesting to talk about, from BYU to UCF. And I look forward to continuing to do that here over the coming weeks and figuring out what else, maybe is something that's going to be the cool new thing or the cool new topic to discuss.
And who gained momentum last year? What programs? For example, Arizona. Cincinnati didn't finish well, and Satterfield told us that on Wednesday. But of the programs who gained momentum, not the ones that were supposed to be good, but like, for example, Arizona, for example, Utah bouncing back, and, for example, Houston, who was the 10-win team under Willie Fritz. How and who among them will continue, if not amp up, even more of the momentum they gained in 2025? So there's a lot of storylines. Of those three I mentioned, Utah, Houston, or Arizona, who do you think will be able to validate or move past what they did? Of course, it'd be hard for Utah. That's 11 wins in 26.
Well, it'll be hard for Houston because they had double-digit wins.
I know, but 11 and 10 and 11, you can still get an extra win or two.
Yeah, I don't know, though. I mean, that's only losing a couple games if you're Houston. So, I mean, for them to go out and go 11-1 or something along those lines, I think would be maybe on par with some people's expectations. But, yeah, there's a high bar for all three of those teams. I'm high on Houston. I am very high on them, and I went over their schedule a couple of different times to make sure I'm not kind of getting too high on them, but I don't think that I am. I think that they're going to be a very good team and very well could be that outsider that gets into the Big 12 title game and plays spoiler. I think Utah is fascinating because we're all just sort of giving them the benefit of the doubt and just figuring that, Kyle Whittingham left after forever and ever being there, greatest arguably coach ever. I know there's Urban Meyer and stuff, but you've won a lot of games there, and you have the number one spot in a lot of different accolades. But you're replacing a lot, but you also return a lot. So I think Utah is receiving a bit of the benefit of the doubt, but I understand why they are. Excuse me there. And with Arizona, I feel like if anybody's kind of flying under the radar, it continues to be them. They are a team that also won a good bit of games last year, but they don't seem to get lumped in. They're always like, oh, yeah, after you mentioned Utah and Houston. So I think Arizona would be my answer just because I feel like they're the ones that are actually kind of flying under the radar a little bit.
All right, so I mentioned today a lot of players from Iowa State, Arizona State, Baylor, and also Houston. And then a look at that game that's in Atlanta, that's the Auburn game, a home game for them against Baylor, and all of the details behind that with David Epps, who's the president and CEO of what is the Aflac Kickoff Classic, and, of course, a part of the Peach Bowl in Atlanta, which is one of the banger bowls, too. When we come back, we'll have interviews from players, as I mentioned. We'll also have a few other notes in college football, as Garrett, Rez, Logan, Houston, and Andrew have also put together what they do every day. This is 365 Sports and the Smoke Show.
Ray Broker is your Lennox Premier dealer. Right now, qualified buyers can make no payments and get no interest financing for 12 months on a new Lennox home comfort system. Conditions apply. Call Ray Broker Air Conditioning and Heating Specialists for details and a free estimate.
The reason that their service is outstanding because the people they have working, behind the desk and the folks working out in the garage, taking care of business. And they give you a date, they give you a time, and they're spot on. And they're professional, they take care of it, and they answer all your questions, and they're fun to work with.
Like Alan Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Alan Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Bold are the adventurous. Determined are the leaders. Faithful are the healers. At Baylor, you'll find your calling, your people, and your purpose. Dare to be you, indeed.
It's time to compete against yourself, finding too many excuses not to work out combined with bad eating habits, and Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness can help reach inside your competitive soul. Discipline, getting results you've only dreamed about, personal training, group exercise classes, and even a tanning bed, world-class tennis facility, and pickleball courts and lessons available. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness, spacious, clean workout rooms, free weights, state-of-the-art technology, weight training equipment, and no intimidation. It's time for you to react today, not tomorrow, at Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lakeshore Drive in Waco.
Serving Central Texas since 1889, TFNB Your Bank for Life takes pride in being more than a bank. TFNB, we remain committed to these principles. If you value them too, come join us. TFNB, your bank for life.
This 3 o'clock hour is brought to you by QC Kinetics. Feel better, move better, live better with regenerative medicine using your body's own healing abilities for natural pain relief. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. With locations in Dallas and Houston at QCkinetics.com. It's time for the Smoke Show on 365 Sports with Craig Smoak and David Smoak.
David Coffey with me, cornerback, Iowa State University, Big 12 Media Days. We had Jimmy Rogers on. Mm-hmm. How do you describe him?
He is somebody that's going to be real with you. Like, whether you like it or not, he's going to be 100% real with you. And he's going to let you know, like, what you need to fix, what you're doing. He also let you know when you're doing well. So I feel like he's a great coach. He's going to push you every single day. So just having him in my corner,
he is, it's not low key, but it is. It's intense, even when he's not like you can be intense without raising your voice, right?
Yeah.
Is he intense with what you've seen?
He can be. Like, just like you said, like, he doesn't even have to raise his voice. Like, just like being around him, like, you can kind of like feel that. Like, just like the energy that he gives off, like, you can tell he's all about business.
So a lot of new faces,
Yes,
right?
sir.
I mean, just a whole bunch of them. And you're sitting there, all these new faces. It's part of the college football world,
Right.
especially if you have a coaching change and with the portal. He was saying that his job is to make sure that you guys are, when you're going to face adversity, and everybody does,
Right.
that you have been put in a position to be tough enough to handle it, both
Exactly.
mentally and physically. Describe the offseason, like the last 7 months since he arrived, and how that does get you in that position.
We've been grinding these last couple of months. We've really been grinding. And I feel like we need that because the season's going to be hard. And I feel like that we've been working out, like he puts us in like positions to like when we do face those adversity moments, we're gonna be ready for it. Cause we work hard, and everything we do hard when we go to meetings, everything's in like it's business. So anytime we're in the building, it's great business.
All right, so let's go over some of the offseason besides lifting weights, getting bigger, stronger. Also, all the things to make you get faster. What was the most intense of the drills you had to do that put you on the verge, and you're in damn good shape? You can tell you're lean.
Yeah.
That almost put you in the verge where you're about to throw up. Anything?
Oh yeah, most definitely. We got these things called trail runs, where it's like a treadmill, but they like raise the incline. So it's like it's like you're running uphill, and like you gotta really like it's hard.
Okay, you're not gonna believe that. I have done some of that. I went through like 5 years. I even do an endorsement for a company that has helped me treat my hip. My hip started bothering me. I used to run a lot, not a lot like I did a half marathon once but I started to do the incline, running less as far as miles or at least length, but going
up. Okay, yeah.
And I used to do that a lot if I traveled. I was at a hotel and I couldn't really. God, I mean, where if you stop, your face is going straight. You're going to break your nose and maybe everything else. So how long can you? I mean, was the intensity on the way to get to that point, or staying there once you did?
Staying there once you're at that top and you're running. You gotta really like lock in and run. You gotta run,
or you're just gonna be like one of those memes, like
you go right real. And the way we do it, like he have us run for a certain amount of time, and then we hold for a certain amount of time and run like that, and then you gotta run again. So like
so you have to let go.
Yeah,
after you.
It's intense.
That'd be hard. That's a balance, physics.
It's
strength,
almost everything.
Timing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and all the other guys are doing it. Or let's say that you I'm sure you do that well, and you handle all of that well. You're a highly trained collegiate athlete.
Yes, sir.
What about somebody that like you're there and they're not going to get it done? They're going to fail.
All right.
Doesn't mean overall, but in that moment they fail. What do you tell them?
Next rep. Just look at the next rep. That was the pass. Just when you get up there again, you gotta have a short-term memory. Next rep.
All right, so with the change, Matt Campbell was there a long time, had a lot of success. Now he's at Penn State.
Yes, sir.
Out the door. A lot of players left, a lot of coaches left. What's it like to have all the new faces coming to Ames, Iowa right now? Not now, but over the last 7 months.
Yeah. So far, I've loved it. It's the players that Coach Rogers brought in. They're great. They're not only great players, but they're also great people. So just being around those guys, like building that connection with those guys, it's been nothing but a blessing.
Sometimes new is good.
Yeah, most definitely.
Sometimes new is good. As the season was progressing last year, and Matt Campbell's name had been up, and I want to get away from him because I want to talk more, but it's part of the story.
Right.
His name had come up a lot, and he had stayed there for a long, long time. At Penn State, that's we know what their history is. Was that ever something? How do you guys handle that inside the locker room?
I think we handled that very well, and that also goes back to the connection piece that we had with each other. Because at that time, it was just the players. So, like, we had to, like, really, like, lean on one another. That's the best way I could put it. We got to just lean on one another, and that really got us through that.
Does it hurt your feelings when somebody like that leaves, though?
I'm not going to say, like, it hurt my feelings, but Coach Campbell was a great guy. Right. I love Coach.
No, he
was a great guy. So, it kind of, it hurt a little bit, but in life, you got to move on.
So the Big 12, 16 teams, Iowa State's been a part of it from the beginning. You've got your rivalries. You've got Farmageddon. You've got Iowa, and you play both of them. Which is the bigger rival?
I would say Iowa. Yeah, Iowa's the biggest.
And they're pretty good.
Yeah.
They're very solid, but that's what you had been. And I mean, before you even were there, what do you think of college athletics today with so many things that are the players have a really good deal right now. I mean, but after so many years where they had no deal,
right?
What's it like to have that as you are now in college and overall the landscape of so many changes you've seen in just a short amount of time?
Yeah, I would say it's a blessing to play in college football like right now. I would say it's really a blessing. But I don't really like look into like that side of things. I just focus on ball, my teammates, my coaches. I just try to focus on that and not like look towards that because that could be a distraction. And I don't want any distractions.
Is that ever discussed, like the NIL and all those opportunities? Is that discussed much among players?
Yes, yeah, you know, it's gonna be discussed because it's such a big thing in college sports right now. So you can't overlook it, but we don't try to like make it a main factor.
So last year Texas Tech was supposed to win, and they did, and they beat BYU twice, and of course they're rolling. Iowa State has been in the mix. I mentioned that, but what are expectations? Can you even realize those right now because so many new faces and a new coaching staff?
I try to take it day by day. I don't look like I don't look towards the future. I just take it day by day, and I know when that time comes, we're gonna be ready. Because how we prepare, how we practice, how we go to film study, how we train. So I take it day by day. I don't look into the future, and just whenever that time comes, we'll be ready.
You guys did not play in a bowl game last year. You
could
have,
yes,
but decided not to. And I know that you know, I don't like that. I'm not saying, but I understood the situation.
Right.
There was so much mass change.
Yeah.
What was that like though, not to play in the bowl game? What was it like as a team?
It was a lot going on with our team, from injuries, from the coaching change. So the leaders on that team felt it was best if we didn't play in it.
It's a hard decision to make, though.
Yeah, of course. We made it as a team. Everybody came together, and everybody felt like it would have been best if we opted out.
Jimmy Rogers, I mentioned him near the top of the show about how he's quiet but intense. What about the X's and O's? He's won a national championship at South Dakota State, beat North Dakota State, who's really good and it dominated that level. Washington State took over and went 6-6 for a program that was kind of like out on an island. What else you know about him?
Coach is a great like person, like off the field. And I like sometimes like we'll be like in practice and we'll just like talk about the defense. Like about like cause the defense is new to me. I'm still like getting it. I know it, but like I want to like really know it. So like I feel like Coach Rogers, like he's really good with X's and O's. He knows what he's doing. He's really legit. So I feel like he's a great guy.
What's the difference between the defensive scheme this year than last year?
We obviously last year we went 3 down. This year we went 4 down. So that's a huge difference.
Yep.
And I would say we more man coverage. We're really a lot.
As a cornerback.
Yeah, I love that.
That's feast or famine, right?
Yeah, I love that.
Challenged.
Yeah.
Pitchers give up home runs. Kickers miss field goals. Quarterbacks throw interceptions. And cornerbacks are going to get beat.
Yeah, of course.
You know, how do you just rinse and how hard is it to just go next play, next snap?
I would say for me, that's something I get used to. Early in my career, I let that, like sometimes I let it get to me a little bit. But as I've like played more, it's really been getting easier and easier for me just to have that next play mentality.
The best at each of those positions I mentioned have like gotten beaten on a play or so. And it's who can like get past it. All right, last thing. You're from Chicago.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about your upbringing. And I think Chicago, and I know there's other cities, but I've been there on 3 to 4 occasions for the NFL draft. For back when the Bears were playing in a championship game against Reggie Bush you weren't even born.
Yeah,
you even born yet? Okay.
I don't think I was born.
It was snowing. Of course. What's it like, Chicago? It's a tough city too. But what was that like growing up in Chicago?
Chicago is a beautiful city. I love Chicago. I would pick Chicago 10 out of 10 times out of any other any other city, state. It doesn't matter. I love Chicago. Chicago, you gotta. I would say Chicago, you gotta get yours, and you gotta be hungry for it because it's a lot of kids out there that's really hungry, and you gotta really grind. Really, it's a grind.
It's a tough place. You got to make sure you're always where you need to be and should be. Correct.
Right.
Did you ever have that?
No, I wouldn't say I had, because I always had like my head straight.
Yep.
I wasn't really like in the mix with all that. So I
good
knew
for you.
I knew what I wanted to do and where I needed
Didn't
to
want
be.
that to get spoiled.
Exactly.
Final thing, De La Salle High School. I mentioned that there's that team in California that had a great run back in the day.
Yeah.
Tell me about De La Salle. What's the most famous thing about De La Salle in Chicago?
De La Salle. It's a great school. I love De La Salle. I transferred in. I wasn't there all 4 years. I was at this school called Montini. It's in Lombard. So once I got there, I knew it was automatic fit for me. I loved it. It's the people that's around the school, the coaches, all the coaches from all the sports. I love it. They care about you as a person more than they care about you as a player.
Now, when I'm watching you, because you're going to get a lot more playing time, obviously, this year, and you've kind of had a little bit of taste of it. Are you ready for? You're ready for a much bigger piece, correct?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Can't wait to see you make a play watching the game.
Yep, I'm ready.
Thank you, David. Appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate it.
David Coffey, cornerback, Iowa State, Chicago, with us on Big 12 Media Days coverage and 365 Sports.
Ray Broker is your Lennox Premier dealer. Right now, qualified buyers can make no payments and get no interest financing for 12 months on a new Lennox home comfort system. Conditions apply. Call Ray Broker Air Conditioning and Heating Specialists for details and a free estimate.
The reason that their service is outstanding because the people they have working, behind the desk and the folks working out in the garage, taking care of business. And they give you a date, they give you a time, and that they're spot on. And they're professional, they take care of it, and they answer all your questions, and they're fun to work with.
Like Alan Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Alan Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Bold are the adventurous. Determined are the leaders. Faithful are the healers. At Baylor, you'll find your calling, your people, and your purpose. Dare to be you, indeed.
It's time to compete against yourself, finding too many excuses not to work out combined with bad eating habits, and Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness can help reach inside your competitive soul. Discipline, getting results you've only dreamed about, personal training, group exercise classes, and even a tanning bed, world-class tennis facility, and pickleball courts and lessons available. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness, spacious, clean workout rooms, free weights, state-of-the-art technology, weight training equipment, and no intimidation. It's time for you to react today, not tomorrow, at Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lakeshore Drive in Waco.
Serving Central Texas since 1889, TFNB Your Bank for Life takes pride in being more than a bank. TFNB, we remain committed to these principles. If you value them too, come join us. TFNB, your bank for life.
This 3 o'clock hour is brought to you by QC Kinetics. Feel better, move better, live better with regenerative medicine using your body's own healing abilities for natural pain relief. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. With locations in Dallas and Houston at QCkinetics.com. It's time for the Smoak Show on 365 Sports with Craig Smoak and David Smoak.
David Epps, Chief Executive Officer of the Peach Bowl and the host of, it's the Aflac kickoff game, Baylor and Auburn. Instead of in Auburn, they're going to be in Atlanta. And that's pretty two teams that don't really know much about each other. You have been doing this for 30-something plus years. How much has it changed running a bowl game?
Boy, it's night and day. Our bowl game, 58 years old, and most all these bowl games started with the intention of being economic impact drivers for their city. Just wanted to pull tourism in. And we evolved into being Southern hospitality. So we wanted to be able to show the players, coaches, fans, media, give an experience that they would not forget. And that's been the biggest change, is that as we've moved into this era where the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl is one of the college football playoff bowl games, it's gone from being a player reward to being a business trip for everybody involved, frankly. Right. And so it changes your focus a little bit, but at the heart of everything for us is hospitality and making sure that we create a frictionless experience for that group I just mentioned. The coaches and the players and the AD, they're coming there to get a win and move on to the next round. And that's a dramatic shift mentally. But at the end of the day, we're trying to perform at a high level for them so that they can continue to perform at a high level in the next round.
How do you feel when you hear people talking about what's the future of bowl games in whatever this looks like moving forward? It feels like there's always going to be bowl games, but there's been thoughts of how you have, the Kickoff Classic would almost be maybe a version of what somebody's idea of a bowl game at the beginning of the year for those who propose such a thing. But as the playoff grows, how do you think all of this works together? Are we going to see something massively different, or do you think it's alarm over nothing, really?
Well, I'd love to tell you I have a vote in all this. The reality is the 6 games, those of us that are a part of the college football playoff, and then the rest of the bowl industry, while we're the same, a move to 24 teams, for example, in a playoff probably impacts all of those bowl games that are not playoff games much more directly. You just do the simple math and you say, take 24 teams out of the bowl pool right off of the bat, and you're talking about the next best matchup being 25 versus 26. Now, regardless, teams still want to play at the end of the season. Cities still want to host them. So there's a place, I think, for all of it. But if there's one thing college football has taught us over the past 5 years, things are going to change. And we may not even anticipate whether it's going to zig or zag. So the real important thing for all of us, whether we're a playoff bowl or a non-playoff bowl, is we've got to be flexible. And we've got to remember that we're not just serving our cities, we're serving the college football enterprise to make sure that it continues to function at its most efficient.
And I'm old enough to remember when the Peach Bowl was not a part of that rotation. I mean, you guys have grown into right in the middle of it. It was the Orange Bowl, the Rose Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, and the Sugar Bowl, right? And then Fiesta Bowl kind of came in it. So that's really cool, the growth of what we see. When you go about, for example, this was going to be a game in Auburn, and now it's, of course, at your place. How do you go about it? Do you reach out to Auburn? Do you reach out to Baylor too? How does that work to get the negotiations for that game to be in Atlanta?
It's a great question. There's no one way, but in this particular case, we're always having conversations with athletic directors and coaches to see whether they are available, have schedule, have interest to come play in the game. In this case, we knew that Auburn, like all schools, continuing to search for new revenue streams. And we saw an opportunity with Auburn to bring this game to Atlanta. If I'm Baylor, that's a win right off the bat because I don't have to go to Jordan-Hare and play this game there in the middle of that madness. But it puts the game in a little bit of a higher, a more visible stage, let's say. A neutral site game, middle of the day, ABC. And we just had to go to Auburn and say, what if we help with your NIL? And so what we're doing is we're doing real name, image, and likeness with these players. So we're going to get football players on the team to help us promote the ticket sales, help us promote the viewership of the game, promote the events that we have, and literally let them generate some revenue for themselves off using their likeness to promote the Aflac kickoff game. And I think that helped convince Auburn this is sort of a new model for the way we do neutral site games, and let's see if it works. And so far, it looks like we're going to be able to create it's a win for us, and it's going to be a win for them too.
Does the NIL at all go to Baylor? Or is that because they get to play a game in Atlanta rather than in Auburn? In
this case, it all goes to Auburn.
Okay,
but if it had been flipped and this had been a Baylor game that we moved to Atlanta, it would have been the benefit from an NIL standpoint would have been shifted to Baylor.
Yeah, and we've seen basketball with a lot of the NIL type tournaments now. It just seems like that's everybody. There's never enough, and it's also very enticing for schools to have that element. I can see where that's very convincing because it's just every. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter if you're Alabama or you're the University of Texas. People are still looking for new routes of revenue. So this is definitely right up that alley, isn't it?
It is. It's a direct lift, the same model that's worked with the Vegas basketball tournament,
Right.
and we're the first to apply it to the neutral site game in college football, and we think that'll help us keep sustaining this as a viable business going forward.
There's also the argument that more fans want their teams to play on their own campus because it's, first of all, travel, whatever. Auburn's going to have fans, and Baylor will have their contingent too, but they're not a huge fan base. So is that something you have to fight against with a neutral game?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you couldn't be more spot on. And interestingly, when you look around, you see what Florida's doing at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. You see all these schools who are investing in multi-use areas. Schools are investing in the on-campus experience. So you're right. Not only does the local economy want those games to take place in Athens and Gainesville, the school's building their infrastructure for that. So there are a lot of headwinds against these neutral site games. They're not as easy to put together as they used to be. It doesn't mean there won't be any out there, and we're all going to continue to try to pick them off when they're available. But the other complicating factor is with conferences going 9 conference games, that reduces the inventory. And if you're have a rivalry game that's outside of your conference, that gets you to 10 of your games that are already blocked. For the other 2, you want winnable games. So the days when we could call Nick Saban and Dabo Swinney and they would play anybody, anytime, anywhere, those days are gone. Because these coaches also know that what the college football playoff selection committee is going to value at the end of the season is a little unclear.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a valuable loss to a top 2 team and you're a 9-win team, or would you rather be a 10-win team in December and that 10th win come against maybe not top-level competition?
Why is Atlanta so college football crazy? I mean, I know there's the history, but it's SEC media days or it's the Peach Bowl or whatever. Just Atlanta and college football just go together like a perfect marriage.
Well, I'm a native Atlantan, and we unabashedly call ourselves the capital of college football. I think that's why we were able to move the College Football Hall of Fame there. And I think it's because Atlanta is the capital of the South, and it's such a melting pot of fan bases from all the P4 conferences. Mm-hmm. I mean, you'd be amazed how many Baylor fans there are in Atlanta. So it just has become part of the culture. And I laugh at the fact that if you're a true Southerner, you don't plan a wedding in the fall.
Right.
You can't risk doing something on, if it's a funeral, you can't avoid it. But otherwise, those college football Saturdays or Fridays or whatever they are sacred.
Yeah.
But we all know we love college football, right? No matter where you are, how unique college football is. And it's such a part of the culture that you can't separate it. And the NFL doesn't get treated that way.
I was looking at all the games since 2008, and almost like Boise State's been there twice. So that's about as far west. I don't think anyone's ever been further west. So Baylor's one of the furthest west time zones, central time zone to go and play, because there's a lot of SEC,
right.
A ton of even some ACC versus ACC matchups as well. So that brings a different time zone into the mix too, right?
It does. And we love variety in these matchups. You get to see some of these ACC and SEC teams playing each other multiple times over the years. When we get to do something like this, it's exciting for us. And I think it's pretty fascinating because you get to create a new data point when you have all these arguments between, all right, is the Big 12 really comparable to the SEC? Well, the more data points we can create with that, the better for the entire system. So to me, this says, all right, you got an Auburn who has big upside, middle of the conference. You got a Baylor, big upside, middle of the conference. How do those two really measure up against each other? And we're going to find that out the first week of the season.
And let's be honest, the Big 12 needs to win, whether Auburn ends up 6-6 or 8-4 or whatever. The Big 12 needs to win these non-conference games against, like you said, the data point. They need those.
They do. And there have been plenty of Big 12 teams who have proven they can compete. And that's why I think this is going to be a pretty good matchup.
So, all right, the bowl games are set. You had Oregon, Indiana last year. We just were talking about it with Matt Garvey as well. Blew out Oregon. They were just a buzzsaw, Indiana. And what did you say on the pick six to start the game? What was that like, that moment?
We've heard from the people that run a building. We experienced ourselves, but literally the guys in the building who measure it, they said that's the loudest this building has ever been for any event. And that's Falcons games, SEC championship games, other Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl games. It was next level. And if you were on the field, the fans they came out of their seats, and that was the end. You knew the game was over after that first play.
Yeah, no, that was incredible. And I had said to y'all that I watched the Twitter clip probably 100 times after that, just because I love hearing crowd pops. Like, a great crowd pop is just also like the kick six. I've watched that 1,000 times, right? But that was unbelievable. And I think we all learned how big Indiana's alumni base is and how passionate they can be about football. And for all this talk, for all of us lifelong college football fans about all these changes, one cool thing that it has brought about is the fact that an Indiana, who 3-4 years ago was the worst team in college football, arguably, is now a national champion. It's just still got to kind of pinch yourself to see if you're dreaming something like that.
Absolutely. And I've reminded all the people I've talked to here over the past couple of days, you can't assume that the gap between Big Ten, SEC, ACC, and Big 12 is as big as you think it is, because Indiana's proven that you're never much farther away than a good NIL base, some good portal work, from becoming a nationally competitive team. And, Cignetti figured it out. And I think a lot of people are going to learn from that lesson. And, there are teams in this conference that could surprise some people.
Dave Aranda, kind of a low key, although he's trying to be a little bit more visible. He's low key. Alex Golish seems to be just like the guy you could drink a beer with. We've had him on the show when he was at USF. Auburn football is as passionate as anybody in America. There's a reason why they have a lot of coaches fired, because they are trying to get back, aren't they? They're trying to get themselves back in position to compete again.
They are. And I've seen a lot of schools, a lot of fan bases. There's something unique about the Auburn fan base. They're a lot like the Chicago Cubs. Those fans are win, lose, draw. They eat, sleep, and die with that team, whether they win or lose. And so they're hungry. And I think after Coach Freeze didn't bring them back to the level that they were hoping,
right?
They're really excited about Coach Golish. And they got some good talent. And there's an interesting parallel. Last year you had Golish and Lagway going against each other with two different teams.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then Golish gets to bring the quarterback in Brown, and DJ Lagway, as you mentioned, is now playing for Baylor. Thank you very much. So you actually took over as the executive director. Is that like this year, or how long have you, because you've been a part of the bowl game, but I want to make sure I get that correct.
I did. I took over as president and CEO on June 1st.
That is good for you.
They either had to promote me or fire me, and I'm glad they made this decision.
I pitched in the major leagues for 24 years, and let me tell you, I can feel it in my joints. Shoulders, elbows, and knees. Trust me, pain doesn't retire when you do. I tried everything to get rid of the pain. Nothing worked until QC Kinetics.
Baseball legend Roger Clemens and other patients are getting lasting relief with QC Kinetics regenerative treatments. No surgery.
I trust QC Kinetics. You should too. Let's commit to getting rid of all the pain.
Schedule your free consultation today. QC Kinetics. Better starts here.
With over 25 years of excellence in IT, Carrion Solutions is your trusted technology partner. From managed IT services to cutting-edge cybersecurity, our expert team delivers tailored solutions that drive success. Our portfolio includes products such as Veeam, Bitdefender, Microsoft, Cisco, and Fortinet. Call David Carrion and his team of experts. Call 888-522-2221 or visit us at carrionsolutions.com.
Established in 2007 and independently owned, Alliance Bank Central Texas is committed to helping families and businesses meet their financial goals. From their tellers to their board of directors, they know the importance of superior service and competitive products. Customers have confidence knowing that their financial needs are in good hands. It's your bank, Alliance Bank Central Texas, with 2 Waco locations, 4721 Bosque Boulevard and 191 Archway Drive on Highway 84, and at alliancebanktexas.com. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Hello, I'm Camille Johnson with Camille Johnson Realtors. We specialize in selling residential real estate agent all across our community, and we love serving all types of families. We have been in business at Camille Johnson Realtors for almost 9 years, and I have been a residential real estate agent for almost 40 years. And we love our partnership with 365. So thank you for partnering with me, and thank you so much to all of my clients who have made our company a success.
Celebrate American value and American quality during the Red, White, and Blue sales event at Richer Car. You want a Richer Car GMC? Get your Sierra now and save $13,000 or more on every truck in stock with trade-in. Save $14,000 on a 2026 GMC Sierra SLE Crew Cab. Or save $13,500 on a 2026 GMC Sierra Pro, now under $29,000. Drive American quality and get American savings during the Red, White, and Blue sales event at Richer Car.
Richard Car, they have the truck for you.
Pepperoni Magnifico. Pepperoni Magnifico. Marco's Pepperoni Magnifico. Classic and crispy cut pepperoni, 3 melty cheeses, all on our fresh made dough. And starting at just $12.99 for a large, it's no wonder Marco's was named America's favorite pizza chain.
This 4 o'clock hour is brought to you by Stonewood Dental, your one-stop shop for your dental needs, specializing in teeth cleaning, fillings, crowns, sealants, root canals, IV sedation, extractions, implants, bridges, dentures, full mouth restorations, and bioaesthetic dentistry. Our priority is your comfort from the moment you walk through the front door. Stonewood Dental in Robinson, Texas. It's time for the Smoak Show on 365 Sports with Craig Smoak and David Smoak.
Baylor football with us, David Smoak and Craig Smoak at 365 Sports. Joe Klanderman, new defensive coordinator. What is the difference? What has been the difference? I know you had spring football with him and now the offseason during the summer. What's the difference?
Yes, sir. I think the biggest thing with Coach Klanderman is he's going to put us in a position to play fast. He's letting us up front, cut it loose, cause havoc, things that I was good at in high school. So I'm excited to get to do it again.
How much do you feel like is Dave Aranda still at least like putting his touches on the defense? Obviously it's Klanderman's defense now, but how much does Dave still contribute in that regard? Or is he pretty much all now full bore head coach?
Honestly, as far as I know, he's pretty much full blown head coach right now. And it's been great because he's been able to really, I guess, spend more time like building relationships with us, building relationships with his coaches, and actually get to be a head coach, and I think he's doing a great job.
You bounced around your position. Doesn't matter, just natural instinct. You play wherever they want you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know Coach Aranda's going to put me in the best place, for us to be successful, and wherever I'm needed, that's where I'm going to play, and that's where I'm going to do my best. But I am excited I'll be able to have my hand in the dirt a little bit more this year.
Yeah, that'll be a little bit different than on the edge or whatever you've been before. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So that's exciting. I'm excited to do that.
What has Klanderman said to you specifically about what he sees from you, what he expects from you, and all that goes with that?
One thing that he kind of said after the spring was he just expect me to be a voice. If things are being said on the defense, maybe people are confused or they don't understand kind of what we're doing with certain things, that I would voice that to him, and he trusts me to do that, to do that well. So really, trying to lead my position group as well we got some really good guys out of the portal, and we got some guys still hanging around. They're going to be great. Jordan Mack, Ryan Davis, Garrick Ponder, and then we've got interior D-line like Jamal, who's here, and Hosea Wheeler, and I don't know, we got a ton of pieces. So it's really my job is to lead those guys and make sure that they're on their P's and Q's and ready to go.
Where does the leadership come from within you? Is that something that you've learned, something you observed? Like, kind of where does that voice come from?
Yes, sir. I mean, I think naturally I was a born leader, honestly. I've always been kind of the leader of my team in high school. I was always the voice, and something I take pride in. Being able to represent the 110 guys that we have on the team, getting ready to represent the university, the coaching staff, like everybody. I truly take pride in it, and I know Coach Aranda's always trusted me to do that, even whenever I maybe wasn't the biggest piece on the defense. He's always trusted me to talk for the guys. So yeah, but I'd say I'm kind of a natural born leader.
You don't raise your hand and go, "Hey, I'm the leader." You got to earn that, and it's almost like other players and teammates kind of like as a magnet to you or whoever it might be. So when did that kind of come into your DNA that you felt that way as a leader?
Yeah, I would probably say kind of after the 3 and 9 year, which was my true sophomore year. Guys are looking around for something. You know, who are we going to follow? Like, something's not working. Like, what are we going to do? And I felt like really after that year is like I started to look at me. And I was like, all right, I'm going to take this and I'm going to run with it. And I think that it's definitely earned. Like whenever I came in, I'm grinding. I'm working as hard as I can. I'm pushing the guys, even if they're starters. I'm going to push them. And so I think guys saw that, and I think that leads to influence, and then influence leads to, leadership.
So you've known nothing but the transfer portal as far as a college player, like being surrounded by it. So I guess you're just sort of used to it. But is it it's no big deal? That's my phone. But are you? Is it weird to kind of create a bond year to year? Is that something that you find yourself having to do?
It's definitely difficult. It's definitely made it a lot harder. Getting closer to guys, because like we spend a ton of time together, but like, I don't know, whenever you don't necessarily go through all of the hard things, being a freshman, trying to earn your spot, like it's hard to get closer to those people. And so like with the transfer portal, it's like you're kind of doing that every January, and I'm actually glad that they made the transfer portal to where it's only in January.
Right.
Because then you have even more time to really build that team. And I think we saw really just kind of in this last cycle, like, we've really grown as a team, and I'm really glad we got some good guys in the portal who have been really good for us. They've helped build culture, came here wanting to win, and I think that's all you can ask for. But the portal has definitely made that more difficult.
How do you handle Wheeler's status? Because it's in limbo right now. And who knows? You see guys getting an extra year left and right, and he's still waiting. What happens with that?
Yeah, Jose has done an awesome job. Ever since he came in January, like he was all in with us. He wasn't looking around, kind of dancing around the question. So we really appreciate that. And he's obviously a huge piece, and we really
literally.
Literally. No, but we really need Hosea, and I'm hoping that he gets that answer soon. They kind of did this same deal with Ashton Hawkins for us last year.
I remember that, yeah.
Kind of just dragged it on, and we're waiting for another one. And Yak, who came from Colorado, the center, another piece that, we could really use. So kind of just waiting around. But those guys have done a great job of, like, truly buying in with it, because I know that would be difficult. It's like I'm with these guys, but I don't even know if I'm going to be able to play again or whatever the case may be. But we could really use those guys, and hopefully they get their answer here pretty quick.
Yeah, fingers crossed for those guys and for y'all as a whole as well. How much has it been on your mind that you're getting near the end here? Not to be like sad or anything, right? But it's also like, hey, this is the last media days, right?
Absolutely.
So what's it like to be representing here, be one of the picks of the coaching staff or of Dave Aranda to come here and represent the school? But also, are you kind of thinking about, this is the last I'm going to do this is the last I'm going to do that? Like, how are you preparing yourself for that thought?
Absolutely. Those thoughts creep in every day, and I think it just makes it even bigger, like wanting to make it a good one, trying to go out on a bang. And it means a ton that, Coach Aranda trusted me to be here, to speak for the team, to speak for him. Seeing it all full circle, being at Baylor the whole time, like being able to end it with this, like me and Michael Allen, who's here. We lived together for 3 years, and, we've been through, like we've had a roller coaster of seasons, and like, I don't know, I just really hope and pray that, like, this is going to be it. We're going to go out with a bang and, just hit the ground running from there.
Yeah.
It is kind of sad, Football's been so good to me. It's given me so much. So I'm so thankful, that the Lord provided for me to be able to do this for so long. But yeah, it's really a blessing.
Did I sense a little bit of your voice cracking a little bit there when you were? Yeah, it's a career. You've been doing this a long, long time.
I mean, I can't even describe how grateful I am, to be in the position that I'm in. Truly, like one of the biggest blessings of my life.
6 and 7. You mentioned the roller coaster. You came here after they went 12-2 and had an amazing team, at best ever. 6 and 7, and that ended badly. 3 and 9, that was. Then you bounce back at Sawyer and company, have a really good year. 8 and 4. Then last year, take a step back again. Man, I mean, like, how do you hold on to it? What do you hold on to there?
Man, I mean, really for me, it's been holding on to Coach Aranda. What he preaches, like one of the biggest things that Aranda says is how you do anything is how you do everything. And that was one of my biggest draws to him. Like that's somebody that I want to play for. That's somebody that I want, to try and be more like every single day. And that's why I never left, That's why I've been with Aranda the whole time. And, I mean, he's been so good to me. Like, the best thing that I can do is give my all, put my body on the line for the team, for him. So
I would imagine it makes it hard when you see the criticism, you hear the fan base, you know what it is. I mean, it's about winning football games, but for you also it's about the personal side of it as well. So How do you manage that as a player, kind of knowing how the big picture works, but also like I don't think you guys really understand what this man means to me and what he's doing for me in my life.
No, it's absolutely tough. And I think, with the way college football now, it's kind of like everybody's on the hot seat. If anything, money just gives everybody else more of an excuse, to say, or I guess gives people less excuses, and so like the leash is shorter. And so honestly, like I don't feel a whole lot of extra pressure with that. I mean, I think everybody's on the hot seat, You don't win. I mean, I don't know what the average tenure of a college coach is, but I know it's getting shorter every day.
Players too. I mean, like if you don't perform, like, hey, why don't you go get in the portal there, son? Yeah. I mean,
you're special. And I mean that not because I just realized that you haven't gone anywhere. You could have left after any of those years. Playing time, records, disappointments, and you didn't. That says a hell of a lot about your upbringing too.
Sir, absolutely. I mean, all credit to my parents. They never taught us to quit. They never taught us to run from anything. And I felt like not to say that the transfer portal is people running.
Sure.
They can be going for better opportunities. Whatever the case may be. But for me, if I was going to transfer, it would have been because I was running, and that's who I am. That's not what I stand for. So here I am, 5 years later. So,
well, I think you got to run because I think we got the wrap up signal. But before you go, what are you most looking forward to about this year?
I'm really looking forward to our defense. I love Coach Klanderman. He's just been, he's awesome. I love his defense. Feels like we really get to play free as a defense, and we're going to cause havoc, and I'm excited about it.
Man, good luck. It's good to sit down with you and enjoy this. Soak it in, and then everything else between now and the season and throughout the season. Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Kyle Jordan again with us, Baylor defensive end on 365 Sports. Petty Clinic Men's Healthcare in Woodway is now proud to offer you men an exceptional weight management body sculpting product called semaglutide, also known as Ozempic or Wegovy. Semaglutide is an FDA-approved weight management medication. Once-a-week injections of this powerful medication offers an average body fat weight loss of 20% within the first year of treatment. In addition to body sculpting, semaglutide also normalizes blood sugars and has the clinical research proof of reducing blood pressure, cholesterol, stroke, and heart attack risk. If you're like most men and you have stubborn fat that will just not respond to typical diets and exercise, then help is finally here. Semaglutide. Affordable, highly effective. Google search Petty Clinic Waco and reach out to the Petty Clinic team today for a free consultation with Dr. Petty to see if semaglutide is right for you. Go to pettycliniclowt.com.
Whatever it is you wrangle, whatever seeds you sow, no matter what you nurture or what you choose to grow, At Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, we're proud to protect all Texans.
When you play hard, sometimes you fall hard. Sports injuries require special treatment. At Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, our team of expert doctors provides athletes and active adults with comprehensive sports medicine care, diagnostics. Whether you're in high school, college, or beyond, we'll help you get back on the field. Call on the team physicians for Baylor Athletics. Call Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics.
At Home Place Interiors, we elevate your space with elegance and class. We are the exclusive Sonoma tile dealer in Central Texas, bringing you the best in high-end floor coverings that transform your home with beauty and elegant design. Our white glove service and expert consultations ensure your vision becomes a reality as we take you step by step through the process. Call today to schedule your personal design consultation. Visit HomePlaceInteriorsTX.com. Home Place Interiors, crafting elegance, one room at a time.
I pitched in the major leagues for 24 years, and let me tell you, I can feel it in my joints. Shoulders, elbows, and knees. Trust me, pain doesn't retire when you do. I tried everything to get rid of the pain. Nothing worked until QC Kinetics.
Baseball legend Roger Clemens and other patients are getting lasting relief with QC Kinetics regenerative treatments. No surgery.
I trust QC Kinetics. You should too. Let's commit to getting rid of all the pain.
Schedule your free consultation today. QC Kinetics. Better starts here.
Connor Wigman, quarterback Houston, with us on the Smoke Show, 365 Sports. How much, just to describe where you are today than this time a year ago, because it was new from the transfer from A&M to Houston, and you know where everything is, and it's pretty simple?
For sure. I mean, I just say stability and confidence. In the transfer portal, I mean, that was my first time experiencing something like that, and just you don't know what's going on each and every day, and just to be able to have certainty and to be around a good group of guys and a good group of coaches, I mean, you can't beat that.
So I saw recently Manning Passing Academy. What was that experience like, just being involved and the whole deal from seeing fellow players to just kind of everything that goes with that? How would you describe it, your experience there?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing just what the Mannings do for us as college quarterbacks and all the kids that come out to Thibodaux for the camp. It's a blessing to be a part of, and just being able to soak it all in and being around football royalty like the Mannings and being around different NFL GMs and scouts and just being able to throw the ball around with quarterbacks of your caliber of high Division I rank, and being around those guys and picking their brains on certain things, it's a really cool experience.
It's not intense, it's fun, but you guys are competing in a way, but you're also teaching and carrying the tradition of the game to the younger players and kids too. What's it like? What are the things that you did not realize that maybe you would do?
Like what I didn't realize about
the academy itself. Let's put it. What was the most fun you had during that academy?
I would say just teaching the kids. I mean, they eat that stuff up, just being around their favorite college quarterbacks and having their favorite college quarterbacks coach them. It's really a neat experience because I remembered being their age and seeing guys like me, and I idolize that. So being in that role, it's a really cool experience, and I don't take that for granted.
So he asked you at the top about just your comfort level, being settled in now. How excited is it to be a Houston Cougar? I mean, coming off of what you guys did a year ago and knowing that it's 0-0 again, but how would you describe the sort of mentality entering this season?
I mean, yeah, I feel like our mentality is we're all in. I mean, I feel like we have the experience. I have the experience under my belt. Just being able to be with the same group of guys and getting a good pull from the transfer portal of guys who are going to help us. And we got a little bit more media hype than we did last year, but none of that stuff matters week one. You got to go put that on the field and put a good product on tape. And I feel like we got a good shot at doing that.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Amari Thomas, Tanner Koziel, I know he's gone now, but why was that transfer class so successful last year? You think there was anything to it, or is it just kind of it fell that way?
I feel like we just bonded really early on, and we just loved the game of football. And I feel like we were a really talented group that come from all different parts of the country, and to come together and play together, it was a really fun experience just to be with those guys last year, especially Tanner Koziel. I mean, he's an elite tight end. I think he's going to play a lot of years in the NFL.
How would you describe Willie Fritz, whether it's his personality or the football coach?
I would just say discipline. He's all about structure. each meeting he starts it off with stick with the plan, and we know our plan each and every day, and he lays it out for us, and just following that and the culture he's built in these last 3 years at Houston, it's awesome.
What was the first time you ever talked to him? Was it at A&M or when you were leaving, or was it even before you went to college when you were at Bridgeland High School? Did you ever?
No, sir. But what's crazy is he coached my dad at Sam Houston back in the 90s, which is a crazy full circle moment for me with Coach Fritz and my family. So it's a really cool story that we like to tell.
That made me feel very old. He coached my dad in the 90s. That's pretty cool, man. He's won everywhere he's been.
He has.
Everywhere he's been.
Every stop he's been at, and he's a truly great man, and I love playing for him.
So I asked him earlier about just kind of rolling into this season, having some expectations because you guys weren't being talked about. And he said that it's the consistency that just kind of keeps y'all even keel of like, you're going to hear stuff, you're going to read stuff, but like it just seems to hammer home the consistent things. How big is that for you as a player, just kind of keep you grounded and keep you guys guided in the right direction?
Yeah, for sure. Because at the end of the day, consistency wins football games. You can do all this flashy stuff, but if you're not being consistent, playing and play out and playing the game the right way, it's going to come back and bite you in the butt. So just being able to have that even keel mentality and so what next play mentality, that's what helps us out a lot.
You played baseball. A lot of quarterbacks probably played shortstop or pitched or played center field. How much of that did you use as a football player?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, throwing a football is the same exact mechanics as hitting the baseball, just the rotational with your hips, and just being able to, I feel like that helped me a lot in going back and forth with football and baseball, and just being able to play with different arm angles as a quarterback and basically playing shortstop at the quarterback position.
Is baseball still a love of yours?
Oh, I love baseball. I mean, I was supposed to play both in college. And,
thought so, yeah.
I always tell people I miss it, but I don't regret it. I mean, football is the love of my life. I love playing the game of football, and so yeah.
You're doing okay for yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
What was it about the transition from A&M to Houston that maybe surprised you the most? I mean, A&M, we know the history and the 100,000 and all of that. What was it that perhaps surprised you the most when you arrived at Houston from there?
Just the family culture Coach Fritz established right when he got here. I mean, my relationship with Coach Bell, my quarterback coach, goes back to high school, and just being able to be around familiar faces, which settled me down a lot. I mean, it was definitely a tough experience to go through, but I feel like that was the best thing that ever happened to me, coming to the University of Houston and being around these great group of guys and just being able to go and play the game I love for great people. I mean, it's always it makes it easier for sure.
So we know Sean pretty well, covered him when he was coaching at Baylor, and Brian as well. Awesome family, man. Like cool to see them doing so well down there as well. But what stands out to you about Sean Bell as far as a coach, but also I guess a mentor, that kind of a thing as well?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just the family atmosphere we have in the quarterback room. I mean, we're a tight-knit group of guys. I mean, we're all friends helping each other out, and he started that, and we pray with each other after each practice, and just being able to have that bond and know your coach trusts you and has your back throughout everything, it helps out a lot. He
was a pretty good player, obviously, and Brian won a national championship at Sam Houston State, and of course, and their dad, if you remember, because they're all like one. Yep. Have you ever had any of his brisket or any kind of tailgate food? Because his father, if you didn't know that, can put on a show with barbecue.
I did not know that. I'm going to have to eat some of that now. He's going to have to have the quarterbacks over and have his dad cook for us.
When he was at the high school coach, Sean, of course, had just wrapped up his career. Brian was at Sam Houston State, but he would travel to every game like a lot of great parents would try to do, and they never missed a game. And he coached every Friday night, of course, and just an unbelievable football mind, just like they are. A&M has had a lot of quarterbacks that have moved on, but college football, the transfer portal allows that. Haynes King was amazing. Had a great career at Georgia Tech. A lot of guys who have left, like you, had a great year last year, have done really, really well. Why is that?
I don't know. I feel like, we're all a talented group of quarterbacks that we're going through Texas A&M, and it's a special school, a special university with special people. And I feel like playing the quarterback position, it's a lot about timing and being able to be there at the right time. And I feel like Coach Elko, he's got that thing rolling over there, and they're going to be a powerhouse for years to come.
How much, I guess, how much more comfortable are you? I mean, we kind of talked about that at the beginning, but with all the pressure that was on your shoulders, how have you learned to deal with that, handle that, and maybe better manage that than when a couple years ago when I'm sure it was a lot of just kind of craziness surrounding you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, at the end of the day, we're playing a kids game in front of 100,000 people, and you can't beat that. And just it's a privilege to be able to be on that football field, because it could be taken away from you at any moment, and it's not a given that you're going to be able to play the next game. And just having that mindset going into each game and having that humility, it helps out a lot.
Are there days you guys get to decompress much with football being almost 365 days a year?
Not really. During the season, Sundays, you get to sit back and chill and watch NFL football after you get your recovery in, but not really. I mean, it's like you said, 365 years, but we wouldn't want it any other way.
All right. How long did it take for everyone to actually get to know how to pronounce your last name correctly?
They're still going. That's what I told my mom. I know I made it when people could spell my first name with the ER instead of an OR.
Yep.
And
so I just told them right before.
Say my last name right. So we're still working on that.
Well, our last name is Smoak.
Smoak, yes, sir.
Smoak, but Smoak. And all through, I travel every 4 years. My dad was military, and every first day of class, no one would ever be able to say my name right. And it got a little frustrating.
I'm
but
right
with
there
you,
with you, yes, sir.
You're good enough for everyone. Damn that. They know your name. They know your name.
Still working on it, but yes, sir.
Good luck.
I
We
appreciate
love
that.
Coach Fritz and the Bell family, but good luck coming off what you did last year and this year as well. Thanks for your time today.
I really appreciate y'all. Y'all have a blessed day.
You too. Connor Wigman, Houston quarterback, with us on 365 Sports. It's time to compete against yourself, finding too many excuses not to work out combined with bad eating habits, and Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness can help reach inside your competitive soul. Discipline, getting results you've only dreamed about, personal training, group exercise classes, and even a tanning bed, world-class tennis facility, and pickleball courts and lessons available. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness, spacious, clean workout rooms, free weights, state-of-the-art technology, weight training equipment, and no intimidation. It's time for you to react today, not tomorrow, at Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lakeshore Drive in Waco.
For anyone that's in the car buying mode or looking for a car right now or a truck, I would definitely come by Allen Samuels, get to know the people here like I have, how well I'm taking care of the dealership and how well, service and any kind of warranty issues or those sort of things. Because of the way they take care of me, it's made me a Ram driver. And so I don't think they'd want to go anywhere else if they came here.
Like Allen Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Allen Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Automatic Chef is your local vending, office coffee, and micro market provider, delivering outstanding service to break rooms all over Central Texas for over 50 years. Automatic Chef brings the best products to your location at the best prices. With hundreds of choices in fresh food, coffee, snacks, and drinks, make break time great again with Automatic Chef. Automatic Chef Canteen, 6900 Imperial Drive in Waco, or online at automaticchef.com.
This is a young buck. He's a Buffalo. He's a Tatum, Texas, CJ Fight, Arizona State defensive lineman. And preseason, all Big 12. People started recognizing you not just now, but man, I'm so proud of your story. What's it been like? I'm used to that.
Yeah, me too. But no, it's a blessing, to be able to be recognized. But
God's put me on this earth to be able to do this, so I'm glad that I'm able to do so with the platform that I have and be able to share what he's done in my life and the plans, the things he has set in front of me. But yeah, being in Arizona, at Arizona State, it's been a blessing. I've learned so much. I played more football than I played, so it's been a great time. It's been a blessing to be there.
We've had Brian Carrington on. We had Dillingham last year, and of course we had Graham Rossini just about a week ago. And you guys, your roster's loaded. What's it like from the Texas high school football players that are now in Tempe playing for ASU?
Yeah, I mean, the Texas guys are making some noise. I love to see that. Everybody says, all the Cali guys, AC guys, they're like, oh, we got so many Texas guys. Why we got so many Texas guys? But, the Texas guys do, they make noise. Obviously, we got a lot of good players, but it's amazing. I love seeing all the Texas guys and the East Texas guys. We got Montana, Lyric, Clayton. So to be able to see the guys and be able to just to play with them and relate to them and have that subculture in the program is amazing.
So how did you, I've told the story that people knew you, that you were overlooked at the same time. I know for a fact Eric Mateos, who was at Baylor, wanted to offer you, and he was told no, that he's not tall enough. That was one of the things. And then you end up at ASU and you're having a great career. You've not been told you weren't good enough, but you have been overlooked before. How did you keep your head down and just keep grinding?
I mean, I just knew I had control what I had to control. There goes Cyrus right there. Yeah, he's funny right there. But I just knew how to control what I had to control. I mean, some things you can't control. Like, if I don't grow 3 more inches, that's nothing I can control. I can't go get on the stretch machine and make myself taller. So I knew the only thing I could control is the work I put in and how I went about my work every day and the mindset I had while doing it. So as I did that, it just started working for me. So that's just been the biggest thing.
I mentioned Carrington, I mentioned Kenny and all that. So when you were looking for the opportunity, what was it like when ASU gave you the opportunity? Remember the moment when they actually said, we're offering you, and what happened then?
Yeah, actually, the first time I was offered by ASU was the old staff, and I was riding in the car with my dad.
Herm Edwards and all them, yeah.
Yes, I was riding in the car with my dad, and he was like, they said they're going to offer you. And when he said that, I'm like, I'm not going to Arizona. It's hot out there. It's the desert. And I didn't realize I'm thinking like it was just true desert. I didn't realize what Arizona was. So I went on a visit, and I'm like, okay, I love this. I can be here. I love this place. So I committed not too long after that. Went the whole season, got hurt senior year, and I decommitted once Coach Herm got fired. And actually, I decommitted, and then I got hurt afterwards. So for a little bit of time, I didn't know what I was going to do. I couldn't do any private workouts. I couldn't do any camps, couldn't do anything of that. Didn't even have a lot of tape going on at the end of the season. So I got the phone call. I was about to go to Fresno, and I got a phone call, and we started talking with Coach Ward and Coach Amy. And I went to class, came back, committed. And then 2 days later, Coach Amy was in my coach's office, and we were having a conversation. So once he told me that, I was stoked to be speaking Sun Devil again.
I think I told you this before. My dad, military, graduated from the Naval Academy, but then got into the Air Force. But he was at Arizona State. This is now in the 60s. So, forever ago. Yeah. He got his master's at Arizona State. We lived in Tempe, not far from the campus.
Oh, that's tough.
And every once in a while, when I'm back in Phoenix to cover an event, I'll go back to the old house. I'll get the maps out. And, I mean, I love it there. Yeah. Great campus, great views.
Beautiful out there.
Beautiful. So, all right. This 2 years ago, you're one play away from playing in the semifinals. We know what happened with UT. Last year, not quite the same. Lots of, who's going to play at quarterback and all that. What's the feeling as you enter this year?
A lot of excitement. I'm excited to see where this team goes. This team, there's so much unknown that you don't know where they could go. I mean, I have my predictions, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. I just know the work this team's put in. So I don't think it's going to go to waste. I'm excited to see how this team uses what we've done and what we learned this offseason to translate it to when we play football this year. But this team loves to work. This team loves each other, and I think that goes a long way. So just gauging off what the guys have shown me and their work and the love they have for the game and from the guys. I'm excited.
Other than football, what is something about Arizona State in your time there that has surprised you the most?
The beauty, obviously the beauty, but I didn't realize how many different kind of
landscapes were in Arizona. You have the mountains, obviously, and there's actually more water than I thought there was. Even though some of it may be man-made, it like
doesn't matter. It feels good. It looks good.
It feels good in the summer. So the water, and then you go up north a little bit, and it's snowing, and so it's like, I think in Flagstaff you go to Snow Bowl, it's like one of the longest year-round amount of snow or something. It's something crazy. So to be able to have like the hottest, and to have the most snow, it's crazy to have polar opposites just right there, like maybe an hour or two away.
Sometimes you wake up, it's 50 something or so, and then of course it's going to get hot. Have you been to the Grand Canyon?
I actually have. I went with. I went. I guess, when did I go? I went to the Grand Canyon sometime.
It's unbelievable. Is it awe-inspiring? Yeah.
I went to Flagstaff.
Okay.
And as I was in Flagstaff, I went up there. It was like another hour up north, so I was like, I might as well go make it up there. So,
you have to.
Yeah,
you have to. Good to see you, man.
I appreciate it.
Congratulations on the preseason stuff. It's going to work out for you.
Yes, sir.
From Tatum, Texas, overlooked too many times, not anymore. CJ Fight with me on 365 Sports.
Ray Broker is your Lennox premier dealer. Right now, qualified buyers can make no payments and get no interest financing for 12 months on a new Lennox home comfort system. Conditions apply. Call Ray Broker Air Conditioning and Heating Specialists for details and a free estimate.
The reason that their service is outstanding because the people they have working, behind the desk, and the folks working out in the garage, taking care of business. And they give you a date, they give you a time, and they're spot on, and they're professional, they take care of it, and they answer all your questions, and they're fun to work with.
Like Alan Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Alan Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Bold are the adventurous. Determined are the leaders. Faithful are the healers. At Baylor, you'll find your calling, your people, and your purpose. Dare to be you, indeed.
It's time to compete against yourself, finding too many excuses not to work out combined with bad eating habits, and Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness can help reach inside your competitive soul. Discipline, getting results you've only dreamed about, personal training, group exercise classes, and even a tanning bed, world-class tennis facility, and pickleball courts and lessons available. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness, spacious, clean workout rooms, free weights, state-of-the-art technology, weight training equipment, and no intimidation. It's time for you to react today, not tomorrow, at Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lakeshore Drive in Waco.
Serving Central Texas since 1889, TFNB Your Bank for Life takes pride in being more than a bank. TFNB, we remain committed to these principles. If you value them too, come join us. TFNB, your bank for life.
It's time for the Smoak Show on 365 Sports with Craig Smoak and David Smoak.
Back at the Star in Frisco, Cowboys headquarters, Big 12 Media Days. David Smoak, Craig Smoak, and Joey McGuire, head coach at Texas Tech. How you been?
Not busy at all.
No, not at all?
No, I'm good, man. I mean, talking season is almost over. I love coming. I love coming in media days because you're getting closer and closer to the season to be here. It's kind of like whenever you get Dave Campbell, when you get the magazine and that it's getting really close to football season. And so excited to bring the 6 guys I brought, and I'm sure we'll have a lot of things to talk about with the Red Raiders.
It's been an interesting spring.
Yes.
It has been an interesting spring. And we'll get into that. And I know you've discussed it. But in the end, you look back at all that's happened, decisions that were made, anything else, would you like to have done things differently?
At the end of the day, if I would have thought the NFL with a supplemental draft, if we would have known that was going to happen, I probably at the beginning would have said, hey, Brendan, let's just declare for the supplemental draft. I didn't see that one coming. There was a lot of stuff I didn't see coming, but I knew he'd have blowback. But in 2003, I got the head coaching job at Cedar Hill, and my AD. I'm 31 years old. I'm young and had never been a head coach of a football team. I'd been a head coach of other sports, and I was asking her something, and she goes, "Joey, if you make a decision what's best on the student athlete, you're going to be right 9 out of 10 times, if not 10 out of 10 times. Like their mental health, what's good for them." That was the decision, everything that we were doing. We felt like that, we needed to have his back. I mean, I talked to him 2 days ago. He was getting home from a little vacation with his family in Florida. And, he's in a good spot. Of course, disappointed with the decision with the NFL, but he's going to bounce back from it. And I think that's the one thing. If I'd have known that was going to happen to him, I probably from the get-go would have said, "Hey, look, let's just declare for the supplemental draft and get ready for that."
Is it a situation where you feel like he's going to be around you guys more, like now that there's this extra time, or how do you kind of handle that? Like you still want to help him,
yeah,
but how does that work now at this point?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because his girlfriend plays volleyball at Texas Tech, so
yeah.
and they're serious. I'm sure that they're going to get married at some point. I mean, they're excuse me, very serious. But he has an open door to us. Like he's training in Dallas right now, and going through all the stuff here in Dallas. But he has an open door as far as training at Texas Tech, and we're trying to support him through his recovery, because that is the real part of that. Like, all of this at the end of the day, one of the worst things that could happen out of all the stuff that we went through, that he went through, that there's a real chance whenever you're talking about addiction that you have a relapse. And so we want to be there to support him through all of this and come out a better person, a better player on the other end of it.
Had Will Hammond not been injured, would you have signed Brendan Sorsby?
No, if Will would have, that that we've talked about it, and I think most of our fans know it. If Will doesn't get hurt, we don't go get a quarterback. It's funny. I've thought about this a lot. Like, where would we have added pieces? And it's hard because we're a really deep football team. We have a really good football team, and I'm excited about the team. So where would maybe a piece? Would it have been maybe another veteran defensive end or something like that? We would have done that. But we wouldn't have gone to get Sorsby. The whole reason that we did is because Will was hurt. And, in this day and age, whenever you have that opportunity and then you have so much money invested in the roster, it's one of those deals. It's hard to take a chance to say, hey, he's going to be 100%. We're just fortunate that it's Will Hammond because he's a different animal.
Yeah, we saw him in high school a couple of years when we were doing high school games down in Hutto. Absolutely a stud. Yeah,
no doubt.
Yeah, dude is a playmaker. That's what I remember. He's a playmaker. How has your locker room, and young people are resilient, but like, how much did you need how much did you feel the need to like kind of talk to them throughout the process?
Yeah.
Like, I'd imagine they were supportive, but I was just curious about that because I know for the media and all these people that are magnifying it, like for them, it could be totally different. Like, how did you handle that? And was there anything that kind of crossed over into the locker room at all?
Sheridan Wilson, who's one of my captains, we were talking the other day, and he goes, "Man, Coach, I respect Brendan so much." I sat right next to him. Our lockers were next to each other, and he said, "Man, you wouldn't have not have known that he was going through this." As far as the after effect, whenever, there was so much going on in the media and just talking, the way he handled it. I think I would say the same thing about our team. You would not have known anything that was going on by the way they came into the building. They worked every day. I think when you go through stuff like this, it's going to test your culture, and we've got a strong culture. We've got a really strong group of leaders. And, the one thing that brings the team together more than shared success is shared adversity, and this has only made our team closer, which for me is exciting. For everybody else, that could be a scary thought.
I have a question, and this is, and I want to get to the team you have, but obviously, first time we've sat down with you since all of this happened. But due diligence, how much is it on the school recruiting a player to now almost, especially when it's a big time commitment, to like the NFL will know if you broke your finger in your 5th grade. You know, I mean, how much can you do? And I know that even Brendan admitted that he was hiding it and was not telling the truth. But where could that have gone better, in your opinion? And that's a loaded question.
No, that's a great question, because if you could have found it, then the 2 previous schools would have probably known about it, right?
Right.
And so that's one thing. But we've thought about this a lot. And this is, I think, as a whole, the industry, I don't know if it was LSU that was using a couple of different people or what. I think I could be totally wrong, but I talked to a former investigator because, we've got to start looking at, with guys that have any contract, but whenever you're talking about, millions of dollars of doing the investigation, and he was an ex-NFL investigator, and he told me, Coach, I don't know if I would have found this. And I think maybe a couple things. Whenever NFL finds it, they have a long period of time to look. The transfer portal is like speed dating. So you've got about a week to try to find everything, right? If I go back and look, I've known Jamie Sorsby, his dad, for 23 years. He knows most every high school coach in the state of Texas. And I did not know Brendan, but I knew his parents, his family, the things that I know about that young man, just his character. We felt great about it, and it could be at some point at 30 for 30. Right now, it is going to be on Paramount Plus.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's going to be interesting to see. But the question, though, is we have to, as a group, really start digging into how could we find because we already do all the medical stuff, that you have to, put that out before you can sign or anything like that. And I think most people were doing that. But this was something totally different.
Go ahead, Craig.
So I wanted to follow back up on the supplemental draft, just so I understand. By him going out when you would have originally suggested, would have just the storm would not have occurred the way that it did? Would that have been easier entry for him? Like, what would have been the difference in making a decision then versus how it unfolded in reality?
Yeah, the thing, after reading the commissioner's statement, part of his statement that I read was that he didn't feel like he owned up to anything.
Okay.
And so maybe not doing anything as far as an injunction or anything like that, maybe that allows him, to be in, what's crazy, we met with, I had calls almost every day, 3 or 4 different teams calling. And then we had a Zoom meeting with 55 different NFL personnel people because they assumed that there was going to be a supplemental draft. And so as far as the teams, they were surprised too.
Joey, how much of this, obviously it got steamy, intense. Yeah. How much of this do you regret anything? And then secondly, you guys took a beating.
Yeah.
But that's going to happen because we're in a time, and in some cases probably that was valid.
Yeah.
How much does that even on your radar, the beating that you took, what people said about you or Cody or Kirby or anybody else, the school?
Yeah, it was, I really felt for our president and I felt for Kirby, because it was only really, you had a couple of little shots of different coaches that were trying to be funny at their meetings.
You and Sark. Did you guys ever talk?
He and I texted the other day.
Okay,
and then Jeff Traylor, of course, put us in a group text saying, can I sit between y'all at the Division I panel at the coaching school?
Oh, God,
and,
Jeff.
So, and so that my peers, there was not a lot said, and I think only one coach in this conference said anything like really public. I had calls from different coaches. Eric Morris called, check on me, and Kenny Dillingham and Kalani. I really felt, because I thought our president and really Kirby caught so much fire from their peers, and I hate that. As far as the fire that we caught as a team, Urban Meyer said it last year. A good team is a really pissed off team, an angry team, and sometimes you got to make stuff up. We're not going to have to make anything up this year, and so that will be a topic used behind closed doors to get guys ready if we need to push another button.
Can I ask one more?
Yeah.
So Cincinnati had been alerted back when he was there, and I'm not trying to get anybody, Cincinnati, he was at Indiana and he was, of course, at Tech, but when they were alerted and they did whatever they could, they asked questions, he lied. Should that be put in some sort of a portal, the information about a player who is, at least there's an alert about, I'm talking about whatever it might be, gambling, assault, whatever.
Well,
would that help?
Yeah, the assault probably, the thing is the assault would be
on record.
It would be on record. And so I think because, as we're talking about real money, we're talking about a lot of money. We're talking about helping each other, protecting, people talked about integrity. It was interesting who used the word integrity because I think there is integrity. I understand the integrity of the game, but just integrity as a human, I think is more important. That. And so it was interesting, some of the people that said that and used that word. But I do think that it would help us as a whole if you're talking about the transfer portal is going to happen so fast that if we shared information with each other, and I usually call a lot of different coaches. I didn't call on this because I thought, that we had a good feel for, who he was and knowing his family and everything. But maybe that helps. Without a doubt, it helps if you know that stuff.
It's to help everybody.
Yeah.
It's not to tattle.
No.
It's to help everybody. Hey, just be careful. You need to look into this. And then again, if you're talking about interconference stuff, people aren't real happy about guys transferring from one school to the other. Craig?
So the reality show, the timing of that couldn't have been more interesting. I'm sure the network was like, hell yeah.
They've been awesome. But they, whenever we decided to do that, guys, man, you think about this, we found out, I want to say 2 days before our spring game, I don't know if there was a university in the country as a football program that had more momentum going in the direction we had going. We signed our highest high school recruiting class in the history of the school. We once again were probably top 3 to top 4 transfer portal class. We didn't at that point, but we had 9 guys drafted. Mm-hmm. We had a huge NFL combine. The first day, Texas Tech players were talked about constantly, whether it was Jacob Rodriguez's mustache or Lee Herna's personality. And we had a great pro day. We had all 32 teams. We had a bunch of head coaches there. So we had so much momentum and we knew we would. And that was another reason or another way to get the, behind the scenes of exactly what Texas Tech is. And, we didn't know this was coming, of course, and they didn't either, but it's going to end up being a part of it, and it'll be a good part of it. These guys do a great job, and we've given them access. That was one thing too that we wanted to do, is make sure they had a lot of access to everything we do.
Will's rehab and all that seems to be going well.
Yeah,
just
he's
watching
doing good,
that.
man. He's doing good. We're not a part of it, but the player led 7-on-7, he was released to do that. So he's done every one of them, every single one of them this summer. And I feel it'll be interesting. I think his full release will be somewhere.
I pitched in the major leagues for 24 years. And let me tell you, I can feel it in my joints. Shoulders, elbows, and knees. Trust me, pain doesn't retire when you do. I tried everything to get rid of the pain. Nothing worked until QC Kinetics.
Baseball legend Roger Clemens and other patients are getting lasting relief with QC Kinetics regenerative treatments. No surgery.
I trust QC Kinetics. You should too. Let's commit to getting rid of all the pain.
Schedule your free consultation today. QC Kinetics. Better starts here.
With over 25 years of excellence in IT, Carrion Solutions is your trusted technology partner. From managed IT services to cutting-edge cybersecurity, our expert team delivers tailored solutions that drive success. Our portfolio includes products such as Veeam, Bitdefender, Microsoft, Cisco, and Fortinet. Call David Carrion and his team of experts. Call 888-522-2221 or visit us at carrionsolutions.com.
Established in 2007 and independently owned, Alliance Bank Central Texas is committed to helping families and businesses meet their financial goals. From their tellers to their board of directors, they know the importance of superior service and competitive products. Customers have confidence knowing that their financial needs are in good hands. It's your bank, Alliance Bank Central Texas, with 2 Waco locations, 4721 Bosque Boulevard and 191 Archway Drive on Highway 84, and at alliancebanktexas.com. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Hello, I'm Camille Johnson with Camille Johnson Realtors. We specialize in selling residential real estate agent all across our community, and we love serving all types of families. We have been in business at Camille Johnson Realtors for almost 9 years, and I have been a residential real estate agent for almost 40 years. And we love our partnership with 365. So thank you for partnering with me, and thank you so much to all of my clients who have made our company a success.
Celebrate American value and American quality during the Red, White, and Blue sales event at Richard Car. You want a Richard Car GMC? Get your Sierra now and save $13,000 or more on every truck in stock with trade-in. Save $14,000 on a 2026 GMC Sierra SLE Crew Cab. Or save $13,500 on a 2026 GMC Sierra Pro, now under $29,000. Drive American quality and get American savings during the Red, White, and Blue sales event at Richard Car.
Richard Car, they have the truck for you.
Pepperoni Magnifico. Pepperoni Magnifico. Marco's Pepperoni Magnifico. Classic and crispy cut pepperoni, 3 melty cheeses, all on our fresh made dough. And starting at just $12.99 for a large, it's no wonder Marco's was named America's favorite pizza chain.
It's time for the Smoak Show on 365 Sports with Craig Smoak and David Smoak.
Ever be a media day?
Hey, Coach.
Football season without this man who joins us, a great friend of the show, and I think we're a great friend to you too.
Oh yeah, you guys are my favorite. I mean, I've been waiting for this. Sorry, I'm out of breath.
No, that's okay.
I came downstairs, so going upstairs out of breath, downstairs out of breath. That's just the type of person I am.
Well, take your time, and we appreciate your time. So, what was something unique you've done since spring football?
Man, I just got back from Tonga. So I went out there and did some service work and try to encourage young people in the islands to continue to school and go to college online, and try to bring some jobs there, open an employment center. So that was I did that. I got back on the 3rd from Tonga, so I spent a week there.
Are you like the other coaches that have told us, like, this it's cool being here, but I wish it was a little bit later because you kind of cut into my vacation time? Like Dave Aranda was traveling. Eric Morris had just got back like last night, so I guess you were kind of in that ballpark too.
I think Scott Frost is going to he's got to go to Italy tonight on a red eye.
What?
Yeah. So I mean it's I don't mind it. I mean I go with whatever they decide to do. So I'm not much of a complainer. I mean, I think vacation flies by so fast anyway. So I can tell that it's vacation when my wife thinks I'm at the house too much. So.
Eric did tell us though that he felt like you almost get revved up for this.
Yep.
You're like, oh, the season's here, and it's like, no, there's 2 months left for this.
Yes, the hurry up and wait moment. You know, so it's a because I think all the coaches they're amazing. By the way, I love them all, and they're passionate about their schools and about their teams, and so you get kind of excited, get the momentum going for it, and then you go on vacation, and they want us to stop thinking about it, you know, and get some time away, and then get back on it in less than a month.
Can you go off the grid and not? Is it possible as a head football coach to not have that at least something going on?
I think it's really hard with you know with the devices that we have. I think you can reach anybody anytime. But I think it's important for your families to feel like you have time just for them. But I'm more concerned about people trying to take a picture with me with my shirt off. You know, it's not my best look. It used to be 30 years ago, but right now, like, trust me, guys, like, you know, and I'm not a wear a shirt to the pool guy yet. So But yeah,
I used to, when I was 100 pounds heavier than I am now, I would always wear a T-shirt. I would never take it off, jump in the pool. I was not going to do that. I can relate. Not quite like what you're thinking, but a lot worse, in fact, than what you're thinking. It's just something about that. Yeah.
it's all love, man. If people love us that much that they're willing to take a picture with me with my shirt off, then so be it. I'll just exhale and just smile.
Well, there was a time back in the late part of last year where I was wondering, I was like, did we talk to Kalani Sitake for the last time at Big 12 Media Days? Because obviously the coaching carousel was ongoing, and that's all well documented. And glad you're still at BYU. Glad you're at Big 12 Media Days. But just what's it kind of like to be on the other side of something like that, and it's a big life decision, and just kind of a guy who's always given back, just deciding I'm going to continue to give back here at this place that I love, BYU.
Yeah, I think the goal was to to see where BYU was at and how much they wanted to really do this. I think the goal when we went to the Big 12 conference, I think there was a lot of feeling of accomplishment. Like, hey, we got into a conference, and I don't want to just be invited to the party. I want to be a feature of it. You know what I mean? So I think having other people talk to us and trying to entice me to leave, there's a number of programs that were able to do that, and what it did for me is I saw what everybody had. Before it was a lot of maybe it was myth but now I got to see the budgets. I got to see what they're working with, and not thinking that we have to do that, but we have to close the gap a little bit. And for me to retain my staff and retain my my players, we've got to do a little bit more, and they've got to make football a priority at BYU. That's I felt like maybe it wasn't a big enough priority for everybody involved. I know it was for the fans, and so seeing the response from the fans was actually that was a really cool moment for me, and to have the fans respond the way they did made me feel like, why am I even considering leaving? But it's because I want to win, and I want to do it with what's needed. There's needed resources I'm not asking for the world. I've already said in recruiting, we're not going to be the highest bidder. So our guys know that, but we've got to be able to do something that allows our players and our staff to feel valued.
So you obviously heard enough that you liked, but what did you learn maybe in exploring? Like, was it what you thought on the other side of some places?
It was actually better than I saw. I mean, a lot of it was confirmed. It was like, hey,
you hear things,
crap, they do really have this, and we're up against some really difficult things, and I think that's okay. Like, I'm not one to complain. Like, so you give me what you give me what you have, and then I'm gonna try to do my best. But I felt like we could have done more, and that's in a lot of different areas. The players need as much investment as possible because they need mentoring, education, connections, network. They need a chance to stay healthy, to do specialized off-season conditioning. Sports science needs to have a place on our program, and there's just a lot of needed resources, and just wanted to see that be done. And then also wanted some longevity. I didn't know if it was plausible, but other schools were willing to make long-term deals, and it was easier to do that. I didn't do it with intention of using it as leverage, but when the opportunities were there, it's like I just didn't think BYU would be wanting to do all those things.
Well, thank God they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, we have a chat room that goes on the right side. A lot of it's, half the time I don't think they're even watching the show. They're arguing with each other about things, but all of them were like, Kalani's such a cool dude. A lot of comments, and they love you. And we do too, because you are real, man. You are as real as it gets, and we've always appreciated that. And you're winning, so that doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
You have been knocking on the door. Do you feel like, and it's been a couple of years, but do you feel like that BYU is still nationally somewhat disrespected by those who make decisions about the polls and the playoff?
Well, I didn't get to where I'm at by complaining and crying about stuff. We're just going to go to work, and that's all I know is work hard and to try to find ways to make the best of our situation. So I know the committee is a hard thing to do, and they're going to make some people disappointed. it's got to be hard to be part of a committee where you're going to create enemies. So I have a little bit of compassion towards them and a lot of empathy. But at the same time, I need to do what I can control, which is get our guys ready to play. I'm not in a campaign either, so I can't even tell you what this year is going to look like. But I can tell you my job is to get us to play our best 12 times. And if you do that right, you're going to earn more times. And so we were able to play in 14 games, with the championship game being one of them and the bowl game. If I would have done my job better, then we would have been in a position where we would have been in the playoffs. So learning, I'm trying to do better. And I don't know any other way to make it work than to get to work, just to get out there and roll up my sleeves and go to work. Complaining about it isn't going to help me at all. And so I understand everybody else's job. I have one too, and one of them is not to complain about stuff. But I also have the ability to be thankful for some really cool things that have happened. I mean, we just happened at that time when we played Texas Tech. I did not think there was a team in the country that could beat them when they beat us in the championship game. I felt like they were one of the best teams in college football. And unfortunately, they had that long layoff, which I think there's a reason why 7 of those 8 teams that have had that bye have lost. And the only one that didn't was Indiana. So they figured something out. And so whatever that plan was that they did, it worked. But there's a problem with the system if the first bye isn't giving you much of an advantage, But that's something that they could probably look into. I'm not really worried about that. I just need to get our team ready to play. If you're asking about playoffs and amount of teams, I like the number 24. It makes sense to me. But if it's 12, then we got to figure out a way to just be at our best so we can possibly be one of them.
You don't have a podcast, do you?
I do not.
Okay, I was going to say no complaining could be the title of the podcast because you make it very clear and you drive yourself crazy if you dwelled on things like that without instead just moving forward. Be like, all right, how do we do this next year?
Yeah, I'm just thankful for where we're at. I mean, it was a cool situation. I know what I can do better to have a better chance next year and this season. So I'm going to try to put it to work. We've been doing that since the championship game ended. We had a bowl game that we beat a really good Georgia Tech team in, and it was a close game.
It's a hell of a game.
So there's some great momentum that we can take from that game. But the one thing I can tell you from that Texas Tech game, both games, is that they were great learning experiences. The one thing BYU's been good at, and this is what our program, our players, and our staff has been really good at, is we learn from some of the things that don't go your way. So you learn a lot from failure, and so I'm hoping that those things can really teach us, and then I don't want to learn a lot of lessons anymore. I want to start dishing them out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it'd be foolish of us not to take advantage of the opportunities to learn from it.
I was watching Bear Bachmeyer. He was doing an interview over there. He's a big kid. I mean, sometimes people, young man. And a year later, and with what he was faced with and how he responded, how do you describe him?
Yeah, he is a learning machine. So he doesn't. There's no complacency in the young man. He's changed his body from last year to this year, and that's just the physical part of the game. His mental part of it and the football IQ. He's a gym rat in the football facility, and I love it. I mean, he's connected to. I mean, he's talking to defensive coaches about philosophy on solid defense, talking to special teams players, and he understands the team dynamic. So to have a quarterback that young be so connected with the entire team is such a blessing, and I love having him on the team. Man, him and his brother Tiger have been amazing for the culture. It just seems like they fit us perfectly, and so I'm just try not to mess it up.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited to watch him this year and how he takes another step. I was thinking about how it almost became hard here the last few years to have momentum, I feel like, as a program because there's so much change. But you guys brought so much back that you do have a momentum, do you not? And just finishing off the year with the bowl game, whereas the entire team somewhere else might flip over or there's coaching changes or whatever. So I guess it still exists is what I'm getting at. I kind of thought maybe it was lost, but momentum can carry over from season to season to at least some extent.
Yeah, and when you have the stability in the coaches, and so looking at the coaches that are on in our conference, the new coaches coming in are amazing leaders, and so but they've been they've been used to what they see as a stable foundation in football, and so they come from their backgrounds, and so they're ready for the moment. And then the coaches that are returning, that's the one thing that these guys are all good at. I'm watching Willie Fritz right there walk up, and this is not an easy task when you're looking at our schedule and you're looking at our conference, 16 teams, anybody can win it. And the parity is ridiculous, man. It's so close. When you look at the parity there, it's like anyone from 1 to 16, however you want to rank them, even if they're alphabetical, has a chance to win the championship. And so that makes for an entertaining brand of football. And then when you have the great leadership that we have in the Big 12 and the media covers it, we have a great relationship. It's not like you guys are covering BYU specifically, but I've been able to kind of interact with you and develop some amazing friendships that we've been able to enjoy. And that's the crazy, awesome part about this job, is that in this conference, I've been able to have connections and see wonderful people and become a better person because of it. So even if it's with the media, you know what I mean? And so it would be a great part of my coaching career for me to take advantage of the learning opportunities I have with me with any part of it. And that's learning and talking about football in July with you guys.
I think everybody in the conference has great respect for you and vice versa. I know you and Joey are tight. Did you ever reach out to him at all during the spring when there's so many things going on with the program?
Oh yeah, I've had a great relationship with all the coaches in the conference, and Joey's no different. We have text threads that we're all a part of, and so the thing that I would ask everyone to do is to assume the best from everyone. I think it's easy when everybody's just trying to jump to conclusions with negative. You want people to assume the best from everyone and know that the one thing I can say about all these coaches is that they care for the student athletes, they care for the young men and their livelihood. And so as long as you can care for them, the rest of the stuff, football becomes secondary and even not even a top priority when it comes to just being able to keep young men healthy and mentally especially. And then I think we don't know all the details that goes into everything, but these are loving coaches that care about their players and care about the young men. And I'm always going to assume the best from them and their leadership.
Petty Clinic Men's Healthcare in Woodway is now proud to offer you men an exceptional weight management body sculpting product called semaglutide, also known as Ozempic or Wegovy. Semaglutide is an FDA-approved weight management medication. Once-a-week injections of this powerful medication offers an average body fat weight loss of 20% within the first year of treatment. In addition to body sculpting, semaglutide also normalizes blood sugars and has the clinical research proof of reducing blood pressure, cholesterol, stroke, and heart attack risk. If you're like most men and you have stubborn fat that will just not respond to typical diets and exercise, then help is finally here. Semaglutide. Affordable, highly effective. Google search Petty Clinic Waco and reach out to the Petty Clinic team today for a free consultation with Dr. Petty to see if semaglutide is right for you. Go to pettycliniclowt.com.
Whatever it is you wrangle, whatever seeds you sow, no matter what you nurture or what you choose to grow, at Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, we're proud to protect all Texans.
When you play hard, sometimes you fall hard. Sports injuries require special treatment. At Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, our team of expert doctors provides athletes and active adults with comprehensive sports medicine care, diagnostics. Whether you're in high school, college, or beyond, we'll help you get back on the field. Call on the team physicians for Baylor Athletics. Call Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics.
At Home Place Interiors, we elevate your space with elegance and class. We are the exclusive Sonoma tile dealer in Central Texas, bringing you the best in high-end floor coverings that transform your home with beauty and elegant design. Our white glove service and expert consultations ensure your vision becomes a reality as we take you step by step through the process. Call today to schedule your personal design consultation. Visit HomePlaceInteriorsTX.com. Home Place Interiors, crafting elegance, one room at a time.
I pitched in the major leagues for 24 years, and let me tell you, I can feel it in my joints. Shoulders, elbows, and knees. Trust me, pain doesn't retire when you do. I tried everything to get rid of the pain. Nothing worked until QC Kinetics.
Baseball legend Roger Clemens and other patients are getting lasting relief with QC Kinetics regenerative treatments. No surgery.
I trust QC Kinetics. You should too. Let's commit to getting rid of all the pain.
Schedule your free consultation today. QC Kinetics. Better starts here.
Rich Clark, Executive Director of the College Football Playoff, joins us, and perfect timing, Craig, and we'll have all sorts of great guests the rest of the way. Hello, sir. How you doing?
I'm good, David. How you doing?
Doing really, really well.
Good to see you. Good to see you, Craig.
You too. The College Football Playoff, it's at 12.
Yes, for the moment.
And like, do you go into those meetings when you know there's others who are also a part of it, right? There's the committee, whatever it is. Do you go into those meetings, think there might be movement, and sometimes walk away frustrated there's not enough movement, and then there's another meeting and then another meeting?
I don't get frustrated with it. I just try to keep an open mind, because usually what happens is we go in, we think that maybe we've given them enough information so that they can make their decision. But usually what happens is we give them a certain amount of information, things that we've researched, that we've dug up, that we've brought, schedules, whatever it is. And that usually drives another couple questions. And I usually go, man, we should have thought about that. We should have probably gone another level or something, but one commissioner will look at it from their perspective and they'll give us something else that we need to give to them. So I would rather them keep asking questions instead of making a decision that's not good for college football. And I'm perfectly good with coming out of there and having to go back to the well and bringing them some more information.
How would you best describe where we are currently with the discussion about the playoff?
So I would say currently, where there is a big appetite for more access. So an appetite for expansion. The question is how much expansion? And 16 and 24 are the two prevailing ideas. Some commissioners lean more one way or another, but I think they're all pretty open-minded about it, and they don't want to make a bad decision, but it's very clear that some of them have, strong opinions one way or another. But they also know if they don't decide to expand, that we're going to stay at 12. And they know that they're in a good place where they don't have to rush to a bad decision, because we're in a good place already. And so I would much rather them take their time and just be deliberate about it, get everything they need, and make a good decision rather than rush to something that's going to put us in a bad spot, because I don't want to go back. If we step forward to 24, let's just say, and then said, oh man, we should have gone to 16. That's a bad look.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. The NCAA men's basketball tournament went from what was 16 to 32 to 48 to 64. Now they're going up again a little bit more. So is it really, in simple terms, like I'm 5, is it the SEC against everybody else when it comes to the number of 24 or 16?
Well, I would say the SEC, Commissioner Sankey has been pretty consistent with 16 being the number that he wants to be at. However, I will say that he's also very open-minded and has asked some really good questions about 24 so that he can understand it better before making a decision. So he's there, he's consistently there, but I would not say that he's stuck there. Some of the other commissioners have weighed in a little bit more on 24, but they're not wedded to it either. They're not stuck at 24. They want to know more about it before they make a final table slap on this. So in my view, they all sort of have their position where they stand right now at the moment, but none of them are ready to go final with it until they get all the information. And I mean everything.
Yeah.
What do you think has been the catalyst for why Tony Petitti looked like a crazy person a year ago when talking about 24 to now it being a very realistic possibility and having multiple people come out and be like, I'm not opposed to that anymore? Like, is it just the access piece that everybody's now realized more, like your Mark realizes, like, man, we are not going to get more than one team in a 12 like most years. Like, this is the only path. Is that just dawning on people, the access piece, or is there something else driving that?
I think access is probably one of the bigger drivers behind this. In fact, I think it is a bigger driver behind 24 because it creates that situation where you get, I mean, every conference gets a pretty good opportunity for access into the playoff. I think that's been a really big part of this. But even with Commissioner Petitti's version of it, it's gone through some iterations. You know, he's refined his thoughts and ideas about it just a little bit. And I think as they go, there's some discovery learning as they go through it, and they refine their ideas just a little bit more. But I think you sort of go through your process of how you make your decisions and how you sort of take in information, and that's what they're all going through right now.
What's the discussion like? Can it get heated? I know you don't want to give away too much, but just curious. I mean, there are some people that get mad or frustrated, or is it colloquial? Is it like guys, men, women, leaders being adults?
In my view, it's leaders being adults. I mean, they go in, they talk, they ask questions. The only time where I get, and it hasn't happened lately, but initially, people wouldn't put their ideas out on the table. Like they weren't ready to put it out there yet. And I was like, just say it, just put it out there. And then there just came this point. It was like one meeting in particular. This was several months ago. It was a long time ago, actually, where somebody said, you know what? I mean, this is why I'm here, blah, blah, blah. They started talking. And then it was like the floodgates open, and it was this really good, rich conversation. Yeah. And I was like, man, this is what we needed. Because then it helps us as a staff know what kind of questions we need to answer, what things are on people's minds, what the different options are. And since that point, we've really had some great discussions on it. This was several months ago. So our last, it's been a lot of meetings. Our last several meetings have been really strong with good conversation, and they're all adults. These are all professionals, and I appreciate it. I think it's been great.
How hard is it to kind of see that tug of war and also deal with that tug of war of knowing everybody's out for their own self-interest, at least initially? Because Greg Sankey's the SEC commissioner. He's not the savior of college football, Tony, so on and so forth. So going in knowing that, but also I think everybody's probably got a love for college football that they want it all to be great. So what's that sort of seesaw like in your mind? Yeah, so the way I look at it, they obviously they get paid by their conferences. Yeah. They have to represent their rooms, the ADs and the coaches in the rooms, and they all do that very well. But I call it a lobster eye. They got to have a lobster eye on college football and what's really good for the sport. And that's when they talk about things like, well, what's the calendar look like? What's this going to do to the bowl games? What's this going to do to the regular season? So they bring up the other issues that have to be considered, not just the ones that are going to be good for their conference. And so I liken it to Congress. Congressional members, senators, congressmen, they have to represent their states or their districts, but they also got to do what's right for the country. And there's a balance there, and they have to figure that out. As professionals, as elected politicians, they have to do that. Just like our commissioners, they got to do that too. They are hired by their conference. If they don't represent their conference, they're not doing their jobs. But they also have to represent college football, and I think they do that well. And they try to not be so parochial in their decision making, but while still representing their conference in a good way.
So what's the drawback?
To what?
To getting it on the table and voting to either make the decision, do the 24, stay at 12, go to 16? What is it? Just because there's still so many questions out there?
I think there's still a few questions. We've narrowed it down quite a bit, but they need more fidelity on some of these questions because, like I said, they do not want to make a decision that they're going to regret later. And they don't have to make a decision until December 1st. And that's for the 27 season. This season is locked in. We're doing 12 this coming season. So this decision would be for 2027 season. So they have to have that decision made by December 1st. So they still have time. And they want to use it. Like, they don't feel like they have to rush into this. And we spend a couple hours each time we get together talking about this, looking at different things. We have different people that come in and brief things. We bring some experts in on different things to help us work through some stuff. So, I wouldn't say that there's necessarily a holdup, but there's not a rush. They haven't hit that deadline, and they still have a little bit of time.
How much do the networks get involved? Because the number, or are that's not even on the table?
We don't bring the networks into the discussion. No, we don't. Now, we have media advisors that come in. They're not from a network. They are our advisors, CFP advisors, consultants that help us to understand that landscape, because that's a complex landscape as well. But we don't bring the networks in to talk about this. Now, of course, we have some contractual obligations that we have to consider, but the networks don't come in and advocate or have a voice in that room.
It seems like 12 got a lot more popular once the topic became about a bigger field, like amongst the fans. And I think it was also just seeing more evidence of a 12. So if y'all aren't able to make a decision, I think there is a large portion of college football fans will be like, great, 12 again. What were your impressions on seeing another round of 12?
Man, I loved it. I thought last season, the regular season was just spectacular, I thought. And then the playoff just capped it off in such a good way. I felt like, the home games, they just blow my mind. I went to 2 last year, blew my mind. Those games were just amazing. But, you go into the quarters and the semis, you get the neutral location, which is a good thing. And those were some amazing games too. A couple of them were just like some of the best games I've seen. And, all the way through, I thought that the 12-team playoff was a really great event for college football and a celebration of what's good, and we crowned a legitimate champion. So I thought it was fantastic. I see why, though, people want expansion, because they want to be a part of it. They're like, that was good, and we want more. Yeah. And, so it doesn't surprise me that people are wanting to expand, because they feel like we can expand and have more of that. Last one quick point. 6 teams in our playoff last year were first-timers. And 6 teams in the playoff, and 3 of our semifinalists were first in the semifinals. So we're seeing new faces, new teams. That's good, and I love that.
It also feels like it's goes against what people thought it would actually turn into, which would be more of, you've won at least 3 national titles to be a part of this field. Not Indiana's going to win the national title for the first time ever, or I know there's a lot of debate about the size of some schools, but you have a James Madison at least have the opportunity. So it is interesting how it's not been as maybe one-sided as a lot of people just assumed it would be, the whole process. I agree. And, to see Miami and what they did, just spectacular. Indiana shocked everybody. So, it was good storylines. Just all around, it was a good playoff. Yeah, it is healthy, but then on top of these leaders having all of this on the table, then you've got all that's going on in college athletics. That may be like, no one can make a decision without it being sued, or they got to get that right too. How much of a tug of war is that? Well, that's one thing that our staff had to realize. Like, we want them to get together with us and make a decision on the format. We're like 1% of what they got 22 other sports in their conference. Yep. They have all these national issues that, they're trying to work through with Congress and trying to sort of shape
the college athletic enterprise, they have so much on their plate. This is just one thing that they're dealing with. And that's why we have to try to we have to bring them decision ready material so that they can look at it, have their questions answered, and then eventually make that decision.
I know you can't reveal everything, but I was just curious as I brought up a James Madison. I know that there's also the detriment of not performing well for a school that size, and that can then go against you and develops a narrative of like, well, that's exactly why they shouldn't be in this thing. So it's weird in that way. But what's the conversation like as far as if there is more access, what does that access actually look like? Like how much of that is really a debate that's kind of hard to crack through?
Yeah, I think there is discussion about that. It's like, some people will say, if you go to 24, does team 22 really have a shot? Some people will bring that up, right?
Or what conferences they come from is always a very big one as well.
Right.
Size of schools.
There's that, there's a lot of questions. And, in my mind, you look at the World Cup, right? You have a lot of teams in there, and you saw some upsets. Some
Cape Verde is a great example.
Yes, some teams that what on earth happened there, and you just don't know. You just don't know what might happen on a given day when a quarterback might not be able to play for that great team, and some other team comes in and they have the hot day, and boom, you got some complete underdog that finds their way in. That's what it's all about, and that's what people love. So there's talk of that, but I don't think we should make that judgment. We can let decisions be made on the field.
A lot of big boy, blue bloods, country club schools have all been blown out during the various college football playoffs too, not just a G6 school or something. I mean, there's been a list of them from top to bottom. Has anyone ever asked you what you want?
Yes. So, all right, David. So here's where I am. Okay, I'm a military guy, right?
Uh-huh.
And in my former life, you'd go into a room and we're talking about some operation that we have to run. And the ultimate commander goes, all right, General Clark, come in, brief us on our options to execute this. And so you give them a couple of options, right? And the one that you really like. But you give them the options and you present options that are viable, because don't give him something that's not going to work, because he might pick it, right? Mm-hmm. And so you give him those options, but you don't lock in. Even if you like one of them, don't lock in, because if he picks the other one or one of the other ones that you don't, you got to own that walking out the door, and you have to execute that violently. And so I am able to walk in and go, here's the options. These are the pros and cons of these options. And I may have one that I like, but it's the one that I have to execute. And right now, 12. I love 12. Yeah. That is my favorite option. And we are gonna make 12 great every time until we have to make something else great. And we'll love that one too. And that's our whole team's attitude on this. It's like we're gonna present the options best we can. We're not gonna sugarcoat, and we're not gonna take away. We're going to present it with as much integrity and honesty as we can. Let them make a good decision, and whichever decision they make, we're going to love that decision. And when we walk out the door, that's our decision, and we're going to go get it done.
What's it like, if you don't mind, one more question? You're talking about the military part of it. You're making plans and options that lives are involved. We're talking fan bases are involved here, but lives are in. What's the power of that, and yet, my God, the reality of that?
Well, you sort of stand where you sit, right? Mm-hmm. And in combat, you have to make decisions that are hard and that lives really are involved, and it's stressful, right? But right now, what we're doing in football, these are lives. Maybe it's not life and death,
right?
But it's still lives, and it matters to a lot of people. And in fact, it's a whole lot more visible. And sometimes I feel more threatened in this than I ever did getting shot at in an airplane.
Yeah.
And so it matters, and it's important. And I take this every bit as seriously as I did other decisions that I've had to make, because it really does matter to people. And there's, these student athletes, what they have the opportunity to do, life-changing.
Yep.
It's life-changing for them, and we can't take it lightly.
You have brought, I'm not saying it wasn't like this before, but the class that you bring to this, and I say that because of the respect of your career, but also what you bring. I love sitting down with you because in the past, I always felt like it was so political. Not that it's not, but when you discuss it, I just feel better about that it's going to get done. I hope that makes sense. So we appreciate your time.
Well, I appreciate it, and it will get done. And we're going to, whatever it is, if it's 12, 16, 24, your CFP staff is going to love it, and we're going to make it great, and college football is going to be better for it. So thank you for what you guys do for college football, too. I appreciate it. Love talking to you every time.
Yeah, you too, General. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
It's time to compete against yourself, finding too many excuses not to work out combined with bad eating habits, and Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness can help reach inside your competitive soul. Discipline, getting results you've only dreamed about, personal training, group exercise classes, and even a tanning bed, world-class tennis facility, and pickleball courts and lessons available. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness, spacious, clean workout rooms, free weights, state-of-the-art technology, weight training equipment, and no intimidation. It's time for you to react today, not tomorrow, at Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lakeshore Drive in Waco.
For anyone that's in the car buying mode or looking for a car right now or a truck, I would definitely come by Allen Samuels, get to know the people here like I have, how well I'm taking care of the dealership and how well service and any kind of warranty issues or those sort of things. Because of the way they take care of me, it's made me a Ram driver. And so I don't think they'd want to go anywhere else if they came here.
Like Allen Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Allen Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Automatic Chef is your local vending, office coffee, and micro market provider, delivering outstanding service to break rooms all over Central Texas for over 50 years. Automatic Chef brings the best products to your location at the best prices. With hundreds of choices in fresh food, coffee, snacks, and drinks, make break time great again with Automatic Chef. Automatic Chef Canteen, 6900 Imperial Drive in Waco, or online at automaticchef.com.
So what a week it has been, and we enjoyed the 2 days inside of the Star, Cowboys headquarters in Frisco, with the Big 12 and Media Days. Thanks for the hospitality and so many different media relations departments helping work with us as we brought you the coverage, and hope you've enjoyed it throughout the week. We will be back on Monday and start anew. 365 Sports. Have a great weekend. For Craig Smoak and for Rez and Garrett and Logan and Andrew and more, have a great weekend and good night.